back to Floating Through Film. I'm your host, Luke, and today we are doing our final episode in the Altman series. This is episode 68, and we are going to be doing two films. First one is Magnolia, which is not directed by Robert Altman, but I kind of wanted this film to be here because it's a film that is, by looking at it, we can discover like what makes Altman unique, but also what Altman, the influence of Altman, especially when it comes to shortcuts and how it influenced Magnolia. And then the second film we have today is A Prairie Home Companion, which is directed by Robert Altman, which is his final film. So I'm excited to go over these two movies today. And before we get into it, let me introduce my co-host Danny.
Hello.
And Blake.
What's up?
And all right, I guess we can go ahead and just go straight into Magnolia here. So Paul Thomas Anderson directed this kind of in his 20s, and Paul Thomas Anderson has gone on record and basically he told Altman that I basically have ripped off everything you've done this whole time.
Wait, so what he admit? Okay, I haven't looked this up recently. What had he made up to this point?
He made
Boogie Nights.
Heartache, Boogie Nights, yeah.
Okay.
Because Boogie Nights came out in 1997, and this came out in 1999.
Have you guys seen Heartache?
Yes,
I haven't seen Heartache.
I've seen all of his movies, except for Licorice Pizzas.
Damn, why not?
It's not.
I just haven't watched. I just haven't gotten around to it.
I haven't seen it either. Because that is something I was going to mention at the beginning. Like, it might sound like I'm a PTA hater, and I'm not saying I'm a hater.
I'm not big
just saying
on PTA.
Like, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's especially like. That's why it's kind of interesting doing this movie after doing Altman.
Yeah.
Because obviously, probably for all three of us, and true for basically every American cinephile, you watch Paul Tam, like he's like one of the first filmmakers you watch.
Yeah.
You know.
And Paul Thomas Anderson's I need to revisit a lot of his movies.
Me too.
Especially
after revisiting Magnolia.
Because like,
especially
I haven't really clicked with like much of any of it. Like The Early Blood, I didn't like when I watched it. I thought it was really boring.
Okay.
But that was like a few years ago, and like my opinion doesn't. I basically haven't seen it at this point. So, but yeah, like there's still like I haven't seen like.
But I definitely need to revisit
like,
him at some point
and stuff. Like, yeah,
because I'd seen some of the later ones, but I hadn't seen this one.
Yeah,
and I like Boogie Nights. Like I actually rewatched that one last year.
Okay,
but I didn't like it as much.
It's
like,
okay.
but I still liked it. Like, I still like all the performances. Like that movie to me, like the spoiler is way better than this one.
Yes. No, I was thinking the exact same thing. I was like, Magnolia is not a worse version of Boogie Nights. They're two different movies, but they're both ensemble casts, and Boogie Nights is so much better. Like,
and a lot of the actors probably when they were signing up for this one, they were hoping to like be stars, like all the Boogie Nights.
I'm pretty sure they're proud of this movie. Come on now, like
I'm
not big on. I'm not like I don't love this movie, but like come on, people love this movie.
I'm gonna kind of say it just right off the bat because I'll probably be saying it throughout too. It does some of the worst stuff in movies that I'm starting to realize. Like it just,
I can see that.
It's like all the annoying, like you can tell.
I agree.
The actors were pitched like this is your Oscar moment, and they'll have like a scene where there's a close up and they're crying and stuff, or like they're giving their huge speech.
Yes.
And it's like it was designed for like an Oscar crowd. Like
but
like that was probably how they were pitching it to all these actors. Like and it's like just so over the top. A lot of them.
Yeah, it definitely is over the top and like. Yeah, it like because a lot of it borrows so structurally from Shortcuts. It's kind of like very jarring to see
and that's
Altman being very laid back.
Yes.
With his shortcuts to his characters with his
or
camera.
Detached. I don't know if it's more laid back. He's more.
It's
detached.
definitely it's both. It's definitely both for me. Like, but then he comes to this and like Altman like loves the gentle zooms, and then Altman's Anderson's like crashing into his characters and stuff. But.
No, so that's why it is an interesting dynamic to think about the differences.
Yeah. I mean, that's a big reason why. Like, I'm not just wanting to talk about Magnolia just because like it has some similarities with Shortcuts. I'm very interested in the difference between the two.
No, dude, this is one of my favorite things. Just like comparing directors, you know, because
yeah.
like you know how some people like you can see both sides of the argument of sometimes it's good to be influenced by a director, but also it can be bad to be influenced by a director too. Or like when people say like this director has such bad influence because of like. To me, like it's not the worst example, but it is an example in terms of what you said. Okay, let me borrow from a director structurally that I really like.
Yeah.
But then not understanding like the reason why the structure works is also because of Altman's style and the way he's laid back or detached or however you want to put it.
Yes.
And like that structure really just doesn't work for me in this kind of like emotional overburst. Like,
I mean, I could,
like almost melodrama.
I would have bet a lot of money before you watched this that you weren't gonna like it that much. I just knew it, but like,
dude, and it's longer than Shortcuts.
Oh, it's long.
3 hours 8 minutes, right?
It's about the same length. I think it literally.
Shortcuts is like 3 hours. Oh,
I think the Shortcuts is also 3 hours 8 minutes.
Oh, really?
I think they're like literally the exact same length, basically.
No, yeah, but for me, like Magnolia, I actually loved Magnolia the first time I watched it. But is it a minute longer?
Yeah, like Magnolia is.
Oh, okay.
Probably on purpose.
But with
probably on purpose.
So too, so it's like kind of tough. But anyway,
no. I actually loved Magnolia the first time I watched it. I do actually like a lot of Paul Thomas Anderson's movies, but I haven't watched them in probably 5 years. That's the problem. Because like what you said, you need to rewatch him. I need to rewatch him too, especially after rewatching Magnolia, because I did not like Magnolia that much this time. It was kind of exactly what Danny was saying, but mine was my main gripe in this one. Not even my main gripe, but just like my irritation with this movie is the score always being played. Okay. It's always being played.
There's a thing though, but I get your complaint there, but you can still make that work.
You can, but like this is always
like Obayashi, for example.
I'm just like he's using it to try to like pull at your heartstrings those ways to do it. Like you can feel it. Like you know that's what's happening whenever he's doing it.
He knows if that music wasn't playing, like Julianne Moore wanted having like one of her like not amazing, one of her
breakdowns.
Yeah, one of her like 10 breakdowns she has in the movie. Like every scene of her is like breaking down in some other way, with a close up. And it has to have the music though and stuff.
Yeah, and that's a part.
Because like it would just seem like almost cringy a lot.
Well, yeah, that's that kind of leads into like one of my complaints about this movie is that there are like 2 characters in this movie which their storylines I just like don't care for. Where like Shortcuts, I love all the stories. And that's a big reason why I love the movie.
Yes, the storylines are way more interesting.
But specifically, like, Julianne Moore's character and Donnie, the braces guy, those 2 stories are just kind of like...
The braces, even though, like, that one, I would appreciate that one more if it was, like, more of the focus. Because it is kind of, like, out there, you know?
He goes to a bar.
And like, that one feels more in line with, like, the whole frogs things that happens.
Yeah,
kind of just a weird obsession, but it still makes sense. But he's trying to combine it with these like really realistic ones, like father-son dynamics, but it's almost like Pixar shit where you like where you just kill the mother and you can just automatically get a crowd sympathy from it.
Okay, for sure. But to get Magnolia, I still like Magnolia. Like I'm not like I don't hate it, and I'd say it's pretty good for me. At least on this watch. Possibly, I might like it less if I talk with you guys about
it. After both of us,
you're
hopefully not, because it still has moments.
It definitely does. I still love some moments.
Tom Cruise and Philip Seymour Hoffman, especially. They're great.
That's one of the problems, though. Philip Seymour Hoffman just falls off the second half of the movie.
Yes, he does.
It's like he just forgot about his storyline.
Like Tom Cruise. Yeah.
After Tom Cruise shows up,
I like the game show stuff. That
happens
too.
a lot.
I thought the game show stuff was pretty funny.
Is that what Mission Impossible 3 joke or something?
But there's still some very high moments in this movie for me. Despite definitely some shortcomings for sure. But I guess we can go ahead and I'm for Magnolia. I'm not planning to really go through the movie in general. I'm more just kind of interested in just talking about it.
Yes.
Because I feel like it's kind of like Shortcuts where there's so much going on. It's almost impossible to go through it and just talk about the storyline. So I will start with what did you guys think of the opening prologue thing? Because that's not something that wasn't in Shortcuts. The 3 scenarios of.
I like the kind of opening of it, but it's
it kind of doesn't really tie that much.
Yeah,
into
that's a lot of the movies like that.
Okay.
It kind of feels like. He was probably, I think he was 28 or 29 when he was making the movie. It feels like that.
It feels
when you watch Citizen Kane, after you're like, damn, if you told someone a 60-year-old made that, they would be like, oh, yeah, I can see that. If they didn't know who Orson Welles was or anything.
Yeah.
But this one, it feels like a 27, and not in a compliment.
It feels
like a 29. It feels like a 29-year-old made. Where there was a lot of energy behind it.
Who just wants to
they have too many ideas. It's like they just watched Shortcuts. He's just watched Shortcuts. And he had so many ideas from it, and he forgot.
I think also PTA was on coke during this movie during this time.
And I can
so that probably also factored. But it's a very showy movie.
I thought coke.
He's trying to
it's we just did Ozu. Who's the exact opposite. And,
oh my gosh.
And that's kind of what I was saying about Shortcuts too. And it's one of the main things I wanted to talk about, the difference between the 2 movies.
Yeah.
It's Shortcuts for the most of the movie is not dramatic.
Yes.
It's almost like just showing you like the inner drama of their lives within their daily lives.
Yes.
And like how they, basically their inner emotions kind of thing. But this one is like doesn't trust the audience at all. Okay, it's like everything has to be like set the music, or the camera's like getting as close as possible to tell you like this is about to be another breakdown scene or something.
Yeah.
But like Shortcuts is like the exact opposite. He's like way more like you have to see it, if you pay attention.
Definitely.
And it's like PTA just doesn't trust the audience. I feel like
that's fair. But I think there is still some self-awareness though.
Like, for example,
well, I'm especially thinking of like the scene where Phil Seymour Hoffman is calling the guy to, of course, try to get a hold of Tom Cruise's character.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he goes like, I know this is like, he's like telling him, he's like, I know this sounds like we're straight up. This is like a movie scene where a guy's trying to call someone to find a long lost son. Like he's
and he's like this.
It's very much like
this is that movie scene. Yeah,
this is that movie scene. Yes. So
even that moment's like way too dramatic too. There's like music playing and stuff.
Is there music?
The music's always. That's what I was trying to say. Like maybe it's not always playing, but to me it felt like it was always.
At least for all the big moments, there has to be loud music playing.
Yeah,
that's fair.
The song, the cheesy ass song that plays halfway through.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that. That's not my. I'm still.
When I described the one scene in Shortcuts I really didn't like with the baker, I felt like an after school special.
Okay, that's still good.
Like this whole movie feels like that at a certain point.
I don't want to diss that. That scene in Shortcuts though is really good though. Like it's like it's a lot more muted than this. Though.
Yes, compared to this. Like, and so you can see why I don't even like this at all because I didn't even like that one.
That's a good point. But anyway, as I was saying, I do like the opening scene especially. Like, yeah, it might not be as connected, but like I love like the kind of video essay. Like,
I do like the opening's like teasing you, like okay, like you can kind of see where
like
Tom Cruise is like opening like monologue is like damn, like this is like Andrew Tate, like right now. There's like guys like this like all the time.
Like, of course, you get like the 3 stories of like this guy that was killed that was a resident of Greenberry Hill, a town called Greenberry Hill in London. And basically, he was killed by 3 people trying to rob his pharmacy, and all the last names of these guys was Green, Berry, and Hill. That's the first one, and then you get like the blackjack dealer who was killed having a heart attack in the plane when the plane's pilot had gone into a fight with him at the casino 2 days prior, and then that guy killed himself. So like that's like a thing of coincidence. Great, it's kind of hard to say because it's like, yeah, I'm trying to think like, I'm trying to think if he's like trying to like, okay, do you guys think he's like with these scenes, trying to say like, is he trying to tie that into something about movie making where everything is a coincidence and then comparing that to the movie in some way? Because I'm just thinking right now, like
I'm not sure, like. I think he's definitely having that theme of coincidence or something, like kind of this. Like I think he's trying to introduce that theme, but it's not really well done to me, honestly.
Yeah.
Because I know at the end of this kind of monologue, where the newscaster says something like, "This was not just a matter of chance. These strange things happen all the time," and that's kind of like, I think that's kind of one of the themes of the movie, like. He's trying to show like there's all these strange things happening all the time around us. All these huge
these definitely are like
that are happening all the time.
It's a connection between these and Shortcuts. Like all these characters are very like certain, like very niche, like person. Like this is not like a, I don't know, like what I'm kind of trying to say here, but like think of it like kind of like how Shortcuts has like the clown car person.
The way more clown, characters too.
Like
way more distinct.
Distinct characters.
Yeah, like I still remember the fisherman, the clown, the doctor. They all have like almost titles. Like
and like very like
artist.
very distinct personalities too.
Yes.
And I feel like that's something that kind of.
This one's kind of missing that. Like Tom Cruise definitely has that. Like
Tom Cruise definitely.
But like his storyline just becomes just like, oh, he misses a dad. Like
okay, that's still good.
I still really like.
I'm assuming like Paul. He was saying that was him. Like I'm assuming that's supposed to be the PTA representative.
PTA
like Tom Cruise.
Like
him and his father's relationship, kind of. If I had to guess.
Okay,
if I had to guess, I don't know Paul Thomas's.
Okay, I don't know if you like even read about him or anything.
No.
But like, okay, but speaking of this opening scene. Like the last one, I think is also like really cool. Like the whole like the guy committing suicide and getting shot while he's falling from the building.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
That was
it's
just
a funny
funny.
quote.
That was just funny. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it was really
The quote is unsuccessful suicide became a successful homicide.
Yeah.
Okay. Like just like I also love like when he's like when he's showing like the wide shot of the building he's falling off, and then like you see the line being drawn of like all the things, like how things intersect with each other. Like it's really cool. I
mean, dude, this is like a theme in like throughout film history, like the idea of like a coincidence, or like what does that even mean? Like I just know this from reading about like when I read the Eric Rohmer book last year. He talks a lot about this, and and you see that a lot in his films too. Just like this idea of coincidence.
Yes,
it happens all the time.
Yes.
Yeah. But it basically depends on how you choose to see it or when you choose to see it.
Yeah,
you know, and that's why like a lot of Rohmer's movies like start with just like two random friends meeting all of a sudden, and that's like the whole movie is about that. Yeah, but they never explain like why or anything.
Yeah. Okay.
And like even you can say Shortcuts like that too. Like more the strange things happening part.
Like I mean, like the them exchanging the photos. In a way.
Yes,
like
yes.
kind of like that. Like
yes,
that's like a very
yes.
coincidence.
So see, it's like a coincidence, strange things, but it's happening in everyday life in Shortcuts, and that's my thing with Magnolia. Is like it's that what you said with it being bombastic or like dramatic moments in people's lives, like it happens all the time.
Yeah.
This doesn't happen all the time. Like it's not real life. Is these dramatic?
It doesn't
moments.
feel like that in real life. Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, and that's the thing. Like that's what I was saying earlier. Like it doesn't feel like he trusts the audience at all to come to that realization themselves as they're watching it.
Yeah.
It's like he has to like almost tell you over the top, like over and over again with the music. Like this is a sad moment, you know. Like this is an emotional moment, you know. Like and like the worst example for me in this is like you remember the Jack Lemmon scene in Shortcuts?
Yes.
It's like really good when he just goes on a long monologue.
Yes.
About what he did in the past.
Yeah.
And like you can definitely almost tell like the guy that does it in this movie when he's in the hospital, the dad in this one who's talking to Tom Cruise.
Okay.
And he's like I think I think that's how it ends part 1 or starts part 2. I forget how. But
wait, like the
dad talking to Tom Cruise when he comes to him.
That's like the end.
Oh, is that the end?
When Tom Cruise at his dad's deathbed?
No, but he's like giving his emotional speech to Tom Cruise. Right when he gets there.
Okay, that's
actually, no. He's giving it to Phil Baker.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
And it's like a long ass speech too. It's like 10 minutes.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, but it's like way more direct.
Yeah, it
is.
It's
honestly, like literally just he's saying like, "Oh, I regret everything I did."
Well, yeah, and Jack Lemmon's more like he still can't admit.
Yes,
that he,
exactly,
like,
and it's way more nuanced. Like you can still tell he's kind of like doesn't like. Yeah, he's like he doesn't have. He's not blaming himself the whole time he's giving the speech.
Yes, and also he's Jack Lemmon too. Like
exactly. Yeah, I mean, this is a famous actor too. I don't remember his name.
I'm not sure, but like Jack Lemmon is like Jack Lemmon. Like it's undeniable at that point. Like.
But either way, you see what I'm saying, though. It's like
for sure.
It's like doesn't trust the audience for that character to just tell a memory.
Yeah,
he has to be way more direct and tell you exactly.
It's very much. It's way more on the nose. Because you can definitely you get it. Like when you watch Magnolia, forgiveness, regret. You know.
Well, it's because like you could see that moment in Altman. Like you could see Altman doing that moment, and the dad being not telling Philip Seymour Hoffman like everything, and then Tom Cruise eventually coming over, and then him actually explaining, because we get the same conversation twice basically whenever the dad is telling Philip Seymour Hoffman, and then later whenever Tom Cruise is basically yelling at the dad and giving all his emotion, he's basically saying the exact same thing the dad just said 10 minutes like in that 10-minute monologue. But that would have worked so much better in my opinion if it was just like the dad kind of being like Jack Lemmon in Shortcuts, or like being like vague and not saying exactly what he did, but just like he wronged his son or something and he knows what he was wrong, but not being direct. And then like that would make Tom Cruise's moment later on coming in saying like, I fucking hate you basically because you left me with my mom at 14 and she's dying of cancer, and he's like, I'm glad you're dying. Like it would have made that moment more powerful to me if we didn't already know that the dad was like regretting everything basically, or like had already like we know what he did basically already before Tom Cruise even comes. So I
still like that scene. Definitely like that scene.
No, I like the Tom Cruise scene personally.
Well, yeah, like
honestly,
everything with Tom Cruise, I really
like. Now seeing the Tom Cruise we see now, and we're about to see Mission Impossible soon.
Yeah,
like you'll never see him crying like that in a movie again.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I mean,
like he doesn't do that type of role now. You know, it's all like he's kind of has to be the hero roles now.
Apparently,
like, he's kind of just like an icon at this point.
Yeah, just a random tidbit. I'm pretty sure that Paul Thomas Anderson met with Tom Cruise to be on this film on the set of Eyes Wide Shut.
Oh,
which is interesting. But yeah,
I like his character in this. So it's almost like
he's the character with the most nuance in the entire movie. So
for sure.
Yes.
Like, it's definitely the most interesting.
Even though, like to me, you don't even need him and his dad meeting scenes. Even though I really like,
you don't need him,
because like to me, like you get everything you need from him. Like when the reveal is like he's been lying to this interviewer person about his like whole past. Because you can tell he's that type of guy. Like,
but still, I think the whole scene with that is very much the build up that's happening. That happens in this movie and both the shortcuts. The emotional build up.
But to me, like that basically reveals everything you need to see.
Okay, I see what you're saying though.
Like all, like basically him not even wanting to tell the truth about everything of his past is everything you need to know. Like what he feels about his past.
Yes.
You know, and like he even says something like. Basically, I don't like the past effects. He tells her facing the past is a way not to make progress.
Yeah.
And like, that's definitely a theme of this movie. It's definitely more of a theme of shortcuts, which is why you could say that basically for everything in this movie is like implies more shortcuts in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
But it's like this idea of you can't run away from your past in some ways. You know,
yeah.
And basically, the past affects us in weird ways too. You know,
but
even if we constantly ignore it, like it's still there.
But the thing about the meanings in both these movies is that Magnolia is like too on the nose with it. I feel like it's like beating you off the head with it.
Yes.
While Shortcuts, like it's very much more like the meaning isn't thrust upon you.
And that's the thing. Like the Shortcuts has way less of a meaning of what you could say. Like,
yes.
You could say the meaning depends on what character you're looking at. Like,
for sure.
It's not like the cop has some like huge story arc. It just he starts as an asshole and he ends as an asshole. You know, and that's kind of that's what life is in a lot of ways.
Oh yeah.
You know, like depending on what character you look at, almost it changes.
Altman's like more interested in like the cycle of things, while like PTA just wants to build to that catharsis. Very much more interested.
He's
in that.
like that's why he feels way more interested in that narrative. Like you still have to have that. Honestly, like, and I mean this as an insult, like the Oscar-y movie type.
I mean this as an
insult. It's a good movie. You know, it has all the right themes, but it has to like beat you on the head with it.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, like you can just like they were pitching these actors like, oh, this is your Oscar moment in this scene. You know, like here we go, like the camera's going so close up on you, like.
But I guess we're talking about the.
I do like William Macy though. I know you don't. You said you don't like his storyline, but I kind of like just the weirdness of that one. Okay, it feels more relaxed in some ways.
Okay, too. I could see that. It just feels like you were saying earlier. It's like 2 on the side. Like it's just like it's like barely.
That's kind of what I like about it. It's like the least on the nose one of all of them.
Okay.
But he said on the side. It's not in there hardly ever.
It's just like
it's not.
He goes into a bar and he's like gonna get fired, like having money problems, and that's like about it. There's not like
I feel like it's like 10 minutes of the movie basically. It's like a 3-hour, 10-minute long movie. He even fits
into that theme I was saying is the past follows you. Like he keeps saying like, oh, I won a quiz show, you know, in the past.
I guess I do kind of like the washed up like child, especially in comparison to the game show kid that's like
he's literally getting braces like he's like a 10-year-old or something.
Yeah, well,
you know?
just because he's obsessed with the
okay,
I
like an older guy. Like
he wants to
impress an older guy.
Well, he wants his dad to love him.
Also,
he's definitely he's like the living embodiment of still being a child kind of
also thing. We get an Altman's regular show up in that storyline. Henry Golding as the guy at the bar that William H. Macy's talking to. That's Henry Golding from like Long Goodbye. Nashville.
I put Dr. Berenger. I didn't know his real name.
Dr. Berenger, yeah.
He always be Dr. Berenger. He's so creepy in The Long Goodbye.
He's so good in Nashville too.
He is good in Nashville.
He's honestly good in this movie too. I like he's not in hardly ever, obviously, but he's pretty good. He's funny.
But dude, he's kind of like I'm just thinking about him in The Long Goodbye, but like the difference between Altman and this movie, at least anyway, in some ways, like Altman is willing to leave like open-ended storylines, characters.
Yes.
Like Dr. Berenger's just a creepy guy in Long Goodbye, but that's never resolved.
Yes,
really. It's like you can have your own theories and stuff, but like in like Magnolia, there'd be like some big moment where it's revealed why he's been so annoyed with this guy. You know,
like, nothing is fucking resolved in Shortcuts. Literally nothing.
Honestly,
basically, like,
and even like and like there's no like even like the very much the climax. Like, this actually, like, in Magnolia, it feels like, everything's getting resolved, basically.
In Magnolia, it feels like everything's going to be great. In Shortcuts, it feels like real life, where these people, like, found this moment of happiness where they thought they were going to die in an earthquake. And then after that, nothing's been resolved. Literally, nothing's been resolved in their relationships. They just all were like scared for this one moment, scared of being alone, dying, like we talked about last week.
Yeah, like we said last week. But it makes the point of this is why people are together.
Exactly. Yeah.
For moments like that.
But like it leaves it open ended to where like bad shit's gonna happen in this relationship again because nothing was resolved. But in this one, like every storyline basically ends well. Like,
I mean,
at least I think so.
For most, anyway, like the frogs almost represent like. In like too on the nose way of like even this bad thing could be good for a lot of people, like the frogs end up saving like the frogs hitting everything ends up connecting John C. Reilly with the guy that fell, William H. Macy, and like resolves his storyline of like doing a bad thing and he becomes a good guy again. Like there's a few others I have to go through like.
Well, it's like Tom Cruise. Oh, like his dad died while he was there, and then the frogs thing happened. Like we find out. At least I feel like him and Julianne Moore are fine together at the very end.
Oh yeah, he's going to see her in the hospital,
where he never wanted to see her ever again. Basically,
that's something. But
that's something. And then like John C. Reilly and the girl. They're going to obviously get together.
Which I do really like John C.
Reilly. I like John C. Reilly.
Like it's all like
it's hard to hate John C. Reilly.
It's also funny because like obviously this and Shortcuts have both the police officer character, but they're like complete opposites.
They are
because we haven't
talked about one of the main storylines, the kind of game show going.
Oh yeah, I was gonna bring that up next, but like what's the guy's name who plays the policeman in? I can't think of it. Tim Robbins. Tim Robbins. Yeah, I can't. Why didn't I think of that? But like Tim Robbins is like the wife cheating like asshole cop who's like the worst person you've ever seen in Shortcuts, and then like you get the police officer in this movie who's like super Christian, like law abiding person, and like
I wouldn't even say super Christian. I just
who's
say
single too. Like
I just say he's like the most intrusive cop.
Yeah, that's it.
He thinks he's doing it for a good reason, but he's so intrusive into people's lives.
Honestly, yeah. That's a good way to put it.
Well, I mean, that's the thing.
He's still kind of using his authority the same
way. He's using his authority to try to get women, basically. But he's doing it, and at least he's framing it to them like he's doing it for their safety, which is what cops do a lot of times.
But at the same time, you could kind of see it as also like he is just kind of like he doesn't see it like. Even though he is using his power that way, he doesn't see it that way because he is kind of like we see.
Which is how a lot of cops do, though.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Like it's that I actually do like John C. Reilly a lot.
Because like we see that scene, like, and it's really forced where he just like there's a random scene where he gets shot at and he loses his gun.
Yeah, that's
just to show us like he's capable of losing his gun.
Well, just to show us.
Or the very next scene where he's like, "Oh, I lost my gun in the field."
It's to show us that he's like a fuck up.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like that one scene though. Like we have, like it's really just shoved in there. Like you couldn't make more time for that for 3.5, like a 3 hour.
I do love this the scene where he goes to the apartment of the game show host's daughter, and like the tension of him knocking on the door, like when she's
and that's kind of what Blake was going to, like, kind of what we were saying, like he does use his authority still very similar ways. I love the tension. Because we see, like, he's not noticing how scared she is, basically, the whole time she's there.
Yeah. Like, can't tell she's, like, definitely on drugs.
And really, and the bigger point is, like, when she's like, okay, we should give out all our feelings and everything.
Yeah.
And, like, he's, like, stuck on her, like, cursing. This can never work, basically. Even though, I mean, they still might get together, though.
Yeah. Like, and she's, like, debating whether to tell him, like, her, like, deepest trauma. Exactly. And he goes, I lost my gun.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Honestly, yeah. But I guess we can go ahead and like start talking about a little bit about the.
I mean, losing your gun in the police force is bad. Like that's the entire thing of Stray Dog, like honestly, and a character saw Stray Dog.
Even though that one's way worse because Japan guns aren't legal.
Yeah, for
like
sure.
It actually, and especially in the 40s or that's 50s,
49.
Yeah, damn, yeah, so 40s. Yeah, a gun is way rare to come by.
Yeah.
But
still, that's a great.
But you were saying the game show. Would you like it?
I liked it up until the point where like just he has to pee his pants and everything. It just I
like the tension in it.
Oh, honestly. I hate like and the dad's like it's just like way over the top. Like
it is over
the
top. Yeah.
Like there's not one sane person here. Like this dad is going crazy for his kid, like who's a genius, like throwing chairs and shit. Really, dude?
But he's about to break the record, bro.
Yeah. Like, what do you care about this record? It's like a game show.
Well, I mean, there's still parents like that exist. So, like,
there are,
big
but like
helicopter sports parents.
But it's one of those things. It's like you have to like almost undersell it so people think of like, damn, there are parents like that. You know?
Okay.
Like, I don't know. Like,
I see that.
That's kind of just one of my opinions. Like, it's like. you don't have to. It's almost like you're spoon feeding the audience when you do stuff like that.
Okay.
You know, like just to make the point.
Well, yeah. This movie is very melodramatic. I don't know if I probably said that.
But melodrama's not even bad. Like,
it
can be less overt and still be melodramatic.
If used right, melodrama can be like.
Yeah, Ozov's melodramatic.
Yeah, he definitely. Yeah, but he's like way less overt, you know.
Yeah.
And he still has like the kind of like detachment I've been talking about, even with Altman. Like as Altman, you know, like this one is way more like it's trying to get you in the mind of the character too.
The game show's cool. I do not hate the game show, but it's
like I like the like sort of like the tension as well in it too, like. How everything it's like getting more and more intense like while he's like having.
I mostly just like it for the comparison to William H. Macy. Like I do like the comparison between the young kid and then seeing him basically like as a grown up. It wouldn't with William H. Macy because that's at least what that's supposed to represent. It's like if you're like that as a child and you can't get over it, this is what you're going to be. Like William H. Macy, who's literally still trying to be the kid he was on the quiz show, like we were talking about before. But like I like that part of like the quiz show part, and I don't know. It is kind of just like what you and Danny were saying. It's just like too over the top.
Yeah,
honestly.
I can see that.
Yeah, no, yeah, like the kid crying and everything,
like his
the other kids bullying him and stuff. Like, let's go over there.
That guy's actually kind of funny, honestly. He's like,
this stuff does have one of the funniest parts of the movie. I have to find the exact quote, but it's Luis Guzman, like the parents are fighting. They're fighting where they're talking about like he's like using football rules, and he says something funny like, "Okay, I'll find the quote."
I like Guzman also because whenever the kids were like running up the score at the very beginning before he peed his pants, like it just cut to the adults and Luis Guzman is just like, what the fuck?
Okay, I know what it was. Yeah, he says so they like they basically end once the kid freaks out, they just stop the show right there. Or no, he passes out, and he has a heart attack kind of like the same time.
Or it's not. He just passed out. I think.
Oh, it's not a heart attack?
I don't think it's a heart attack.
They were thinking it was a stroke.
Oh yeah, he said but he said I'm fine.
He said he's fine.
He said that.
Okay.
Yeah, we
no, but anyway, and Luis Guzman says, yeah, they call the score at the time they call it.
Okay.
And then the kid's like, this is on sports. This is on sports. And he's like, oh, that's not an official rule. That's an official rule, baby. It's like,
oh my god,
I love that.
Oh man, especially that kid's like the kid's like 8.
Yeah,
he's like cussing up the storm.
Like honestly, like. There's some of these storylines that would have been better as like singular movies, maybe, or maybe just like 2 storylines going on with him.
Okay, I can see that. Be more focused with it.
Yeah, okay. That's the thing. Like none of this movie is focused at all. That's kind of the problem.
Okay,
and maybe that's like, you know,
which is interesting because
like say that's the point of the
movie.
It's
vaguely the entire movie's vaguely about daddy issues. That's literally that's basically what the movie's about.
And that's why I was definitely saying like there's definitely some like.
Well, it's actually funny you say that too. Like, it has like I'm pretty sure Shortcuts has more storylines.
It has a lot. It has more characters.
Yeah, more characters. I feel like it has more storylines too, though. And like, still, I feel like Shortcuts still like pulls off the focus more better. I don't know if you guys agree, but like,
some of the storylines also intercross in Shortcuts, which helps too. Like they intertwine.
I think you said this. Like Altman's more showing like the whole wheel or something. Like the whole. I forgot what you said the exact word. It's
the whole cycle.
The whole cycle.
Yeah.
And that's kind of just the storyline itself, is the whole cycle.
Yeah.
With the various characters just as part of it. And this one is more trying to be like, just trying to show almost separate stories, but still trying to be really involved with the characters like they're like singular stories.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
And it just doesn't work for me. Like I've been saying a lot.
Yeah. I apologize to all the Paul Thomas Anderson fans.
I'm sure there are a lot of Magnolia fans. I used to love it. That's the thing. I used to love Magnolia, but that especially after watching Altman, I watched it this time. I was like, oh god.
Yeah. I mean, you've watched a lot of other movies.
Well, yes, I have watched a lot of other movies since Magnolia as well.
I mean, that's kind of like. He is an early film going watching, like, he's an early come to for most people anyway, at least in America.
One of the first directors you watch.
Yeah, he's definitely one of the first. Sure. Like, to get, if you start watching older movies.
Especially for art house movies, like,
I mean,
or what you would consider art house movies.
I'm assuming he's the reason you first heard about Altman, maybe?
I didn't even know they were connected.
Oh, really?
Until I started watching Altman, actually.
Oh, okay.
Because I never really got into Paul Thomas Anderson. Like, I watched some of his movies, and none of them really clicked with me that well. Like, I like some of them, but like...
Okay, so you picked Magnolia just because...
Well, I figured out, like... Well, I'd watched Magnolia, like, a year or two ago. Or, like, 2 years ago. And then, I heard all these connections when I started watching Altman and started reading about him online. And then when I watched Shortcuts, I was like, oh, okay. So, like, they're like, obviously Paul Thomas Anderson, like, borrowed a lot from this movie. Yeah. That's kind of how I discovered the connection between the two. And, like, you can see it a lot in, like, some of Anderson's other movies, which I'm interested in revisiting some of his other movies for that connection. Like, I'm pretty sure I mentioned in the Popeye episode, like, he uses the She Needs Me song he uses it in Punch Drunk Love. There's other ones, too. I can't think of it.
PTA's always been hit and miss with me. Like I do love a lot of his movies. Although rewatching Magnolia, like I said before, is making me rethink and make me need to rewatch some of them because I do love There Will Be Blood, Inherent Vice. I love, and like Boogie Nights. I fucking love. Like all three of those, I think are actually. Really
and The Master, I remember liking last time.
I like The Master.
I don't like The Master. It's too like.
I like the first time.
I don't want to hate on too much. Yeah. He's gone through enough.
But I do kind of want to watch those later ones because this is, like I said, it does feel like an early movie in a lot of ways.
Yeah, like he's like trying to.
Like he's swinging big. Like, he's swinging big.
Because he followed this movie right up with like a 90-minute. Punch Drunk Love is like 90 minutes. Basically.
Right after this?
Yeah, right. Because like,
Don't love Punch Drunk Love also.
I need to rewatch it. That was like one of the first ones I watched.
Yeah,
I didn't probably
like I'm not crazy on that one or like Phantom Thread or anything like that. I don't really love those ones.
But anyway, getting back into the
getting back into Magnolia.
Well, okay, so in the spirit of talking about the game show, the scene where the game show host confesses to his wife that he might have molested his daughter.
Yeah, to hate that.
Interesting scene. To be honest,
it's like over the top. Like we get it. Like you have like a dark past that you've been hiding.
Yeah, like it's revealed. It reveals because we see
it reveals why she kind of has like her problems. Kind of.
Yeah, it's like something that's not said the whole time, and
that's actually I actually don't mind him like that specific scene because that's one of the scenes where I think he is like. He's not taking responsibility for like molesting his daughter, basically. Like his wife's like, "What did you do?" Or she's like, "You can't even admit that you like molest her now." Like he never. It's kind of like we were talking about with Jack Lemmon. Like he never admitted in Shortcuts. In this movie, that's the moment that he never admitted.
Although I still think I prefer the Jack Lemmon's like.
Well, yeah, for sure.
Way of dodging it instead of just being like, I think she thinks I did that or whatever, and like I still don't know. Like,
but to me, it just like that's such a serious kind of like. Accusation and just
it's
a very serious thing to bring into a movie just to treat it like one of your random events that kind of happens, it's like it's not even taking that seriously really after like you know what I mean, it just it's just used for that dramatic moment basically like in the script like let's add a super dramatic moment here kind of thing.
I get that for sure. I'm not like having extreme either way. I'm kind of like middle of the road in that scene. But I think the only really like person we really haven't talked about that much is the Julianne Moore's character, she might be my least favorite storyline.
Probably mine.
I mean, we kind of mentioned earlier, like basically her just like crying every scene, like going way over the top, crying.
I regret being a gold digger.
Which is because
I mean that's basically what she says. Like
she's I fell in love with him.
She's a connection between this and Shortcuts too, because she's in both of these movies.
I was about to say that. Like watching her in Shortcuts and then watching her in this was also like kind of shocking. But
I mean, because I mean, for the most of Shortcuts, she is more like easygoing. Well, until that one scene, then they start arguing.
She's easygoing in Shortcuts, but even in Boogie Nights, he uses her way better in Boogie Nights than he does in.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, just the use of close-ups is like really significant. If you can tell, like when I think of Julianne Moore in Shortcuts, you can think of her art too. Like you think of her like in her house and stuff, or with her husband in the same shot. And this one is like just all close-ups of her crying or something.
Like freaking out.
Yes, exactly. And like that's why Altman's just the way his style is so important to the like kind of like almost detached. I mean the kind of just episodic nature of both the movies. Like it's hard to do these like kind of short, brief moments, but treat them like they're really serious things at the same time.
I see that.
Like a whole movie should be about the child molestation.
You need to devote more time.
You can't have like just.
We have an entire movie called Quiz Show. Like, like the Quiz Show thing should have been its own movie. Honestly, it could have been also. And like the Tom Cruise thing could have easily been its own movie. Him and Philip Seymour Hoffman. Fuck yeah, Lily, I'll watch that.
Or, have you seen the movie The Hunt?
Is that
I think
Mads
it's called
Mikkelsen?
Mads Mikkelsen.
I haven't
Yes,
seen that
yes,
one.
that
Yeah.
one.
I haven't seen that one.
I mean, that whole movie is about like he's like a preschool teacher and he gets accused by a child of child molestation.
I did not know that's what that movie was
Yeah.
about. I thought that movie was about him being like a hunter
you can tell why
hunting people or something.
No,
like,
and you can tell why I still remember it because it's like a brutal movie, but like
Damn.
it's like hard to watch, but it's also really good. But
Okay.
like you can see like that movie actually takes it seriously, like what that means and everything. Like, and this is just
This
it's
one
just there.
is
Then he
just,
has a.
it's
It's just
just
another
used.
thing. It's just used to overemphasize that point of look what parents have on their kid.
It's used to overemphasize that point, and then also so he can get saved by the frogs committing suicide. Like,
Yeah. Oh yeah. When they stop shooting himself.
should we just get to the frogs?
That's another moment I was saying.
We're starting to get to
sorry,
we're starting to get to
yeah,
that part.
okay.
But
What were you saying though?
well, I was gonna say before
Or
we go, move on from Julianne Moore. There's one more thing about her storyline that has a connection to Shortcuts. Her in her car in the garage, trying to about to poison herself with carbon monoxide poisoning. And the scene in Shortcuts.
Okay, yeah.
Obviously, I like the scene in Shortcuts a lot more because you get like the violent
But
blend.
even on the last week, I said I didn't like that scene that much.
Yeah. Which one do you like better? Yeah, okay. We don't have to say it. Anyway, it's just an interesting connection between the two.
No, yeah, that's definitely.
Okay. Before we get to the frogs, we get to a scene that actually the Wise Up scene where they all sing.
Oh yeah, I forgot about
so it's actually hilarious because I know we're about to shit on it because I don't like this scene.
I don't want to shit on it. I'll just say I don't like it.
Because
I don't like it
it's funny because like people love this scene. When I look online and stuff, like the scene, and, like,
probably
people
has
love
like
it.
probably 10 plus million on YouTube or something.
Well, I'm gonna look this up.
Yeah,
actually.
I'll look it up. Yeah.
Maybe that seems high. Maybe 5 million or something.
Okay, but it's obvious that you wouldn't like it. But like, I love I love musicals, like musical moments, and
I
this
love
scene,
musical moments in movies. Okay, come on, stop. Not obviously. What movies are musical to me? That's why this is like so cringy.
Oh, it's only at 1.8 million. That's not as much as I was
Okay.
thinking actually.
But like this is
Oh,
like
yeah.
this
Look
is
at the
literally
comments,
after school
though.
special.
Look at the
thing.
comments.
This is literally an after school special. Like
it's
like you could, like I was thinking of like Saved by the Bell. Have you ever seen that?
no, I haven't.
Like you could see in a show like that, or, you know, like a '90s type show where all of a sudden the characters like all in their room singing about the same thing.
Okay. No, the thing about
And
the
like
scene,
they all in the
yeah.
cuts to all one of them like in their room,
the
like on
thing,
the bed. or
yeah,
something.
the thing about the scene is like my main prop with it is it feels so just like what why is this all of a sudden happening? Because like in a way, like when I think about it, like sure, like the movie is very melodramatic and like you on paper maybe it would make sense, but at the same time it just still doesn't jive with the movie.
On paper, it should not make sense. What do you write? All
without-
the characters like in montage
I'm talking about how it
singing
fits
together
the
the
movie.
same
I'm
song?
talking about how it fits the movie because like the movie is very bombastic, out there, like spams the score every 3 seconds. Like it possibly could work, maybe, but then it just doesn't to me. Like,
No.
do you don't like the scene?
No, I'm not a huge fan of the scene, but
Even though we should use it for the music for the podcast,
No, we
maybe.
shouldn't. I like the other song when Million Acres you watch the bar. But
the comments under Wise Up were insane.
okay, like people like trauma dumping. Basically?
No, there were the trauma dumping. There were people saying it was the best movie of the '90s, which is actually fucking insane.
I
I
understand.
mean, alright,
Okay.
it's like kind of weak decade from what I've
Okay,
seen.
there's-
Hey, did you see in the
We're about to go through
Letterboxd?
side,
Did you see?
bro,
Did
come
you see?
on.
Oh yeah, for sure. Did you see in the Letterboxd top 250 the highest decade or the most movies from one decade is the '90s?
But you're using
Wait,
Letterboxd.
what do you
not
mean
to-
most movies like
like it has the most movies from a single decade is the
but
'90s.
the problem
like
is
that's
in
how
the
many
top
in the top 250.
But the
They're
problem,
top
Yeah, but
50.
Letterboxd
it's not 250, bro.
First
Like,
of all, you're
there's like
forgetting
Forrest
that.
Gump in that, like, and stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
come
go
on.
look at that list.
Forrest
first
Gump
of
is
all.
not
You don't
in there,
you don't want to be
probably.
promoting that list before you.
There's gonna be some-
Unless I'm gonna hold you to that now. Like that's basically your top 250 now.
Oh, fuck off! I'm talking
Using
about
it. Use that as evidence that's a good list.
Come on, bro.
I was just saying 90s is definitely
You're
not the
being
weakest
exposed,
decade.
bro.
No, there's no weak decades of film.
Yeah, we've talked about this before.
But I mean, yeah, frogs happen too, which of course is probably the biggest connection. Well, okay, my two biggest connections to Shortcuts, like, or just the most obvious connection to Shortcuts to me in this movie are like
The frogs.
the large cast of characters, the very much like the build up to the large like weather disaster kind of thing, which we've kind of talked about why the Shortcuts one we think it's better, but also I don't know if we mentioned this, but both these movies are very voyeuristic. Both very much you feel like you shouldn't be watching these moments. But of course,
I actually disagree with that too.
Really? Wait, okay. How do you?
Magnolia is the moments are movie moments.
Yes,
like,
exactly.
Okay, but still, I still think they're really like. Think about like the scene where the guys.
I mean, and a lot of directors have already made this point. All movie moments are voyeuristic in some ways.
Okay,
that's the difference. Like, and I think Altman makes this point way better in a lot of his movies, and we're about to see that in this next movie.
Yeah,
where like the difference between a play or a radio program or something in film is you can show the behind the scenes in film. Yeah. Literally, not only of a play but also of a person. Okay. You know, and that's what film has been about for a long time. You know, you can go in someone's room too. You know.
Yeah.
You can go
I was just more referring to like Magnolia. You're seeing like these like very like traumatic like.
But that's what movies are. Like Mike said, that's what movies are. Okay. Like Hollywood has like we'll see 4 Oscar movies.
Yeah, whenever I'm thinking of like voyeuristic, I do think of like Altman, especially in like The Long Goodbye, where it's like we're watching conversations that people are having, like the wife and her husband. Whenever we see Elliot Gould in the distance, like we're watching that, and then he's like filming it in like a really weird, like it's like a very detached camera, like we've already said about Altman. It's like it just feels like we're not supposed to be there specifically. Yes. Whereas in like this movie in Magnolia, it feels like these moments are filmed specifically
like
with
the actors. Like to me, that's why style matters a lot. It's like the actors are like they don't feel like real people. They feel like they're acting for a close up. Like they know where the camera is. You know, when Julianne Moore's crying her ass off and every scene. Like.
We like Julianne Moore.
No, we like her too. She is a great actress. But this is like, you know, actors are like, if it's going to be close-ups 90% of the time, you know, it just becomes annoying for me at a certain point. Unless you're John Woo.
Yeah, we have the same thing.
We said the same thing.
Chow Fat John Woo.
Yeah. I mean, is there anything like else we should talk about?
Besides the frogs and being, I didn't understand the frogs the first time, and now I just don't care.
Like, okay, who do you think she's talking to at the end of the movie? Because it kind of ends with her in her room.
Well, okay, but it's John C. Reilly rehearsing what he's gonna say to her. That's kind of how I took it. Like the voiceover.
But she's in it.
Well, it's the voiceover though.
Oh,
and then he's showing him actually saying that to her.
Oh, okay.
But then I kind of like the final shot of the movie because she is like smiling at the camera. Oh, she looks at it's like a nice Cabiria kind of thing. I hate to compare them, but like. You see what I'm saying? Like the looking at the camera at the audience, like kind of breaking the fourth wall.
Yes, and
I'm not saying
like a moment of realization.
Of course, Knights of Cabiria is fucking better. Come on, like, but still, it's a similar effect that's happening, which I still like in this movie.
But like, it just introduced a whole new thing to the audience. Like I'm saying, like that would be a whole movie of like we just find out the reason why she's kind of like this. You know, is the whole she was molested as a child, probably.
Yeah.
You know. But it's like, but a cop going to her like house is like her life changing moment back to like normality. Is like, come on, like,
I can see that.
Like in shortcuts, like Altman would never be that kind of cheesy. He would like be like Blake said, like it still ends kind of just depressing. Like when you actually think about shortcuts, you know.
Okay.
When you think about everyone's relationships, nothing changed.
yes, except for that event. Can change, you know, things, but still, like we don't see those really. And from our guesses, it's probably not going to change things.
Yeah.
Yeah. But in this one, it's like we're like you said, it's like way more meant to assume like maybe that is like a radical moment for her.
Yeah, but I just like the kind of breaking of the boundaries in that scene when she looks at the camera. Yes. But yeah, I think that's shortcuts though.
That's shortcuts.
Once again, apologize to any Paul Thomas Anderson fans that clicked on this episode and like was open to see people praise it. Well, if you like
it, it's
completely
probably.
Fine, you know?
It gets enough praise.
Danny might not.
It definitely gets enough praise.
It's not a 4.2 or something.
Let me see.
It's a very low
4.2.
It's a very low.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 4.2.
Come on, it's TV, bro. You know, like people love them.
That's insane. 4.2.
Oh yeah,
I was hoping like at least 3.8.
It's 4.2. Yeah.
You were being way too optimistic about the like.
Oh, it's the second highest rated movie, behind There Will Be Blood.
Oh, his second favorite.
Yeah, on average rating in Letterboxd.
Damn. Well, yeah, people love Magnolia.
One of my followers gave it a half star. I love it. I'm not going to give it that. I promise. But
should Inherent Vice be his least?
I haven't seen.
No,
I haven't seen Inherent Vice. Inherent Vice is good. I've heard people compare that to The Long Goodbye too.
Oh, so I might need to watch it. I might need to rewatch.
See, I hadn't seen that when I watched this one. I didn't like.
Yeah.
I liked Inherent Vice. I didn't love it when it first time.
I really loved Inherent Vice whenever I first watched it. But after, damn, is this gonna be another one where I watch after Altman don't like?
Honestly,
because The Long Goodbye is a masterpiece. So
honestly, yeah, for sure.
But it does have Walking Phoenix. So
yeah. Okay, yeah, that's it. Yeah, but
he's great playing a stoner. And he's actually a stoner. Like Elliot
Okay,
Gould.
yeah,
Elliot
yeah.
Gould's not in Long Goodbye. He's not actually a stoner. He is a stoner.
a chain smoker.
But
Yeah,
he is a
yeah.
He is a chain smoker. But
Yeah.
I mean, it's a very
Altman
stoner
was a
type
big-
movie.
Altman was a
Though.
stoner
Oh, it's a
too,
very.
yeah.
That's what I was saying. Like the Long Goodbye is a very stoner type movie.
Okay.
But like Inherent Vice, he's actually a stoner. So
Okay. But yeah, okay. I guess we can go ahead and get into Prairie Home Companion, which, in a way, is also PTA did have something to do with this movie because this is Altman's last film, Prairie Home Companion, and honestly, I think this movie, by the way, I think this movie is way underrated, especially when you look at like the letterbox and stuff for it. Like, it's like at like
It's 3.4.
Yeah, I think that's too low
It's too
personally.
low.
So Altman was like really old. Like he died like shortly after this movie released, like maybe a year or so after this movie released or whatever. And so when he wanted to make this like his last movie, the studio was worried that he would die during the production. So what they did is they hired Paul Thomas Anderson as like the insurance director on this movie.
Dang.
Where and he basically got to. I've heard him talk about this in interviews. Like
I kind of want
him getting to like he got to like hang out around Altman and stuff.
Yeah.
Like yeah, and like I heard a podcast like I mentioned the podcast with him and the Safdies that I talked about. I think it was in the California Split episode.
Yes.
But like briefly talked about that. He was like saying like, oh my gosh, it was like the best moment of my life, like best moments of my life, like talking to him.
Damn.
Oh, I'm sure.
But yeah, he was basically like hanging around set, basically just and his wife is in the movie too. She plays the pregnant assistant. But yeah, so yeah.
Maya Rudolph.
That's Paul Thomas Anderson's
Rudolph.
wife?
Yeah, Maya Rudolph.
damn, I
Yeah,
don't
they're
know
married.
that.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, I don't know if they met on this film, but
I know they've been married a long time, but this is 2006 or something.
Yeah, 2006. Yeah, but yeah, I guess before we get into it, what do you guys think of Prairie Home Companion? Do you think it's like a good last movie? And also, I should mention too, this movie like it's kind of funny the comparison to like the last series we did, Ozu, where we talked about how like Non Afternoon isn't really like feel like a final film. And this is like the opposite.
Yeah, this one definitely feels.
It's
like
it's like the most obvious final film
Yeah.
ever. Like, but anyway, Danny, what are your overall thoughts on
I
that?
loved it, dude.
Okay,
I really did, honestly.
I like that.
No, I was surprised. Like, I was kind of nervous. Like, yeah, like you're saying, like, I've even talked to you guys about this, but I can't help it still when I see a rating on Letterboxd. You're kind of just naturally influenced by it to some degree.
Because
You know, you're like,
it's and like the posters like pretty bad too. The original,
yeah, and like at least some of the people I followed didn't give it great reviews and stuff. So going in, I wasn't that excited about it.
Okay,
but it honestly works really well. Like
yes,
it kind of like because some of maybe the complaints I've had maybe with some of the Altman movies is like he's maybe too kind of just floaty, like not as focused maybe. But this one, like, the whole kind of live performance aspect of it, like, kind of focuses.
Yeah, like
and it lets his wandering camera still, like, have, like, the tension of, like, the whole live performance at the same time.
Like,
it's really well done.
When you enter the theater at the beginning, you don't leave it until, like, you get that one shot of the one guy walking in, the executive guy.
Yes, but even that feels, like, very noir. Like, very noir and stuff. But that part, what you just said of just feeling enclosed space the whole time, like the theater.
Yeah.
Feels like Parade.
That's a great comparison. Yeah,
and then
because Parade also you like see the outside of the beginning. You go in. This is another thing we can add to the list though.
Hey,
We've started to make a list of connections.
Because
Altman and Tati.
But except for this one, he doesn't start and end on. The theater starts at the cafe, but it's very similar. But
still, like
it's the same kind of idea though.
Same general concept.
And it just makes all the performances like they're really like honestly. I haven't seen that many Meryl Streep movies. I know she's considered like one of the best actresses ever.
I haven't seen it,
but she's amazing in this.
Oh yeah,
like
she plays like the
her and Lily Tomlin are so good.
Yeah, she plays like the very like I don't know how you
sisters. She's one of the sisters.
Well, just the very like. Carefree mom.
Yes.
Who has the daughter,
yes.
But
that's really interesting. And
like,
I don't know. You can I'll go more through it.
No, I actually like Prairie Home Companion more than Nashville. So.
Oh really?
Yeah. I really like Prairie Home Companion a lot. Also.
Okay.
I wasn't expecting to either though, which
I was the same way honestly.
Interesting.
But like I was still like sort of optimistic because like I saw like, sure it might not have the high ratings, but the people who love it like love it. But
like I knew I was at least going to like this movie a lot. Whenever it basically opens up with Mr. Noir, I was like, oh my fucking god, okay, let's go. But yeah, like,
but dude, he's another star. Okay, go ahead. I'll say it later.
Okay, no, but I mean, this is one of the Altman movies where I think like all of the basically all of the like short stories or whatever, like they're all the same like cast or whatever, like they're all in the same place. So maybe that's the reason why I think it's easier for like me to care about all of them at the same time. But like I didn't find going off to someone else's story like to be a hassle in this one, like I might have in like a Shortcuts, where I didn't love some of the stories more than some of the other ones, or like in Magnolia, where I was just like, if it's not Tom Cruise, Philip Seymour Hoffman, or like John C. Reilly, I'm basically out of the movie. Like, but like yeah, I like basically everything in this movie. So especially the radio.
Were you expecting us to like this or not? Like, what was your?
There was a sliver of, there was like a slight chance. I was like, okay, maybe they'll really like this. I was like, and in general though, I was a little worried.
Okay.
But I'm glad.
I really liked it, dude.
I'm very glad.
It's honestly they had me with the radio with just the radio drama and showing the process of how it was actually done.
Really
like they had me. It's
in a way,
really
and how
cool.
it's okay. I'll start to do my thoughts. But like, I love this is my favorite part of the movie is like how that's a meta commentary on Altman and film, basically.
Yeah.
Like specifically, it's very much like he's. I think you mentioned it earlier. Like he's showing radio, he's connecting that to what he a film in general and his philosophies towards it.
Yes.
Like, but we'll talk about that when we go through it. But yeah, I love this movie. It's such a great just final film. It's very much kind of takes up the same space as like Parade for me, where it's like it's the underrated final film from an auteur I love. That just like I think is so underrated. And people
his Countess from Hong Kong, you might say.
I'll need to give that another shot before I can even divulge that. But anyway, but yeah, getting into A Prairie Home Companion.
You shouldn't be laughing at that.
I like
saying you're a Chaplin fan and laughing at that.
I like Countess of Hong Kong. It's not his best movie though.
I didn't say best, but it's a good swan song.
It's a good swan song.
Yeah. I need to give it a shot.
Great.
The score is fantastic. I agree. And her outfits are amazing.
See another comment. They're both very musical movies. Both of those.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, okay. Well, I mean, all three of them we're talking about.
Yes, all sounds right. Yeah.
Altman has a lot of musical movies.
Honestly, yeah. But yeah, I guess we starting out the movie with the guy noir introduction, which is like, it's so funny. It's so funny how like you get all the voiceover, him smoking a cigarette, like the lighting is so like noir, like
so
oh my gosh.
But this is another kind of Altman character, like, and this is maybe his most extreme, and I think he's obviously aware of this being his last movie, like, the kind of, like, he's, like, showing it like he's a noir hero, but you can kind of tell he's an idiot.
Yes.
You know, and it's like, and that's part of it, like, this guy has no power to stop what's going to happen, even though he keeps acting like
he thinks
he keeps the whole time, he keeps thinking he's going to stop it, and even towards the end, like, he only realizes at the very end, you know?
Yeah.
Like, but he's introduced like a hero that's gonna, save the day kind of.
Like he's like, I used to work for the Prairie Home Companion, you know.
No, it's really funny, and it's like this ghost that's like introduced throughout the movie.
For sure. Which but yeah, this kind of whole first part of the movie is like basically you're getting introduced to everyone. Like everyone's walking in to go to the show because we said like the whole movie is basically just the progress of this whole show that becomes their last one. They find out because at the beginning they don't even know it's going to be their last show, which is interesting. But as you can say, like the commentary between that and just film in general is like, this is the last show of the Prairie Home Companion, and this is almost last film basically. Yes, there is a connection there between the two.
I thought that they did know that I didn't think that the audience knew, but I thought that the cast.
Well, they figured out. They figured out like after they started though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because.
Yeah, because I liked that comment that they had right at the very beginning of the movie where I think it was Mr. Guy Noir saying like Midwesterners have this tendency to not pay attention to news and they think that's going to make bad news go away, and that is how a lot of the Midwest is for sure. Like that's how a lot of people around here are. Like if you just don't pay attention, like it'll go away eventually. But I mean, as you can see, it doesn't. Like
oh yeah, for sure.
Time moves on, so
yeah. I mean,
or time flows on, so
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, and dude, you saying that I was gonna save it when we talked about it, but we'll probably come to him soon. Is my favorite character in the movie is the main radio guy. I think his name is GK.
Yeah.
In the movie. Like he's like the one that understands that.
Yeah.
He's kind of the like I mentioned with Ozu. There's always that character. Like he's like that guy in this movie.
Oh, he does.
And he's like very honorable. Like he doesn't want to. He's like I'm not gonna do.
He's just very honest about it.
Swan song.
Like maybe like he wants like they're like kind of like this is like towards the end, but we always do this. Like where like the daughter's like, but actually not both of them. The daughter, but and the mother too. They both like already kind of like got mad at him about like why he's not more sentimental about the end. Like he's not. He doesn't even want to bring it up, and he's basically like. The radio just goes on no matter what, you know.
It's the best thing about radio. I think that was his comment. Is like the best thing about radio is no one can see us. No, we don't grow old. Like it just continues.
But I think that's what Altman's saying about film in general. Like even though he's gonna, he's no longer gonna make any films.
So he says we don't look back on radio. That's the beauty of it. Nobody gets old. Nobody dies. We just keep going. And he's like, "What if you die?" And he said, "I will." You don't want people to remember you, and then he says, "I don't want them to be told to remember me."
Yes,
which is such a good line.
Yeah,
in a way, that's Altman saying like he'll die, but his films, as we're talking about right now, like, they'll never die.
We're proof of this.
They're still alive, basically, and well.
And not only that, like it's a very beautiful ending in terms of like film is not just me too. Like he's kind of saying that like. Film will go on too.
Yeah, there's other filmmakers.
There'll be other filmmakers. Like it's not like just because I'm dying, like film is dead.
Yes. Like it's a beautiful thing in this movie for sure that I love.
And like kind of just that, not only that theme of it, but also that theme combined with like why the people that make it almost.
Okay.
And just the fact that you can kind of get all those little moments in just this live scenario is just like, so good.
That's great.
Like because you kind of just from their reactions of finding out. This is their last show. You kind of get a lot about them. Yeah, you know, like based on how they all react.
Like you kind of see like
their personalities,
you see like
what
the
memories they start bringing up and stuff.
Like the main guy and Meryl Streep, like bringing up their love affair or whatever. Like yes, for sure.
Yes.
And like did you mention that like basically like kind of like he is also like kind of paying tribute to all like the people that work on films that like aren't in the spotlight too with us. Like,
like dude, my favorite is like the sound guy.
Okay, yeah.
It's
so good.
We're gonna get to that scene.
Oh my god, such a great scene.
We'll get to that scene.
But yeah, when like I love this kind of we get this like frantic like they're getting ready for the show, and like the pregnant assistants like can't get anyone's attention, so she like starts faking like her water breaking basically. Oh yeah. and then she's like,
I'm fine.
I got your attention now.
Yeah,
like got your attention. But during this kind of preparation, I love that it and the start right here is like it might be my favorite shot in the movie because you see like them on the stage, but you don't really realize it's a stage because there's a curtain there, but you can't really tell it's a curtain. At least my first time watching, so you're just watching like them like kind of standing around.
That's why I thought the first time when I think in my head like I don't even realize the crowd a lot of the time because you only hear them.
But then the curtain reveals itself, and it's just such a cool like moment where it's just such a good reveal in my opinion.
But most of it is just on them too, like.
Oh yeah,
and you hear the crowd more than you see them.
Well, we're in the crowd basically
we're
for a lot of it. So
yes.
No, but dude, like I don't know if like we're kind of it is like Altman. It's a very random moment.
Yeah, that's a big thing.
With some performances gone throughout, you know, that kind of tied together. But I loved like when we first see GK walk up to the stage for the first time. Yeah. He's like, you can tell he's done it so many times.
Yes.
Because he's like telling a random story to this guy. I forget what the story is. I don't remember.
It was how he got into the radio. How he got into radio business.
Yeah.
Or like how he got into the radio business. Because this is whenever Woody Harrelson's talking to him, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And do they know at this point that it's the last show?
I don't think they do at this point. I think it's like someone comes in. It's sort of at the beginning, sort of like. It's after I'm pretty sure it's after the show started. Then like someone announces it.
But either way, he's like telling him that story. Like he has no, like he doesn't care about prep at all. Like, and then right when the curtain opens, he turns and he like starts giving.
And starts singing. He starts singing the song.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
It's like just automatic, which is kind of what he's trying to show. Like it's their last show, you know. So like they're like basically all experts at it at this point.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
Honestly. And that's honestly nice to see because most of the time we see like first show movies where they're like kind of messing up and stuff, you know. And they're like, you know, fighting along the way to make the performance or something.
To make it.
Honestly, yeah. There's a connection here probably between like this random thought in my mind, but like Goodbye Dragon Inn.
Oh, okay, yeah,
like
sort of like the last night of a huge thing.
Yeah. Because like, they destroyed the theater.
They do, yeah.
After like this last show.
Yeah, they do in this one.
I feel like there's a connection there. That's like two of my favorite movies.
Plus, dude, Parade is just the ending of Parade made me think of like that theme of earlier I was talking about like kind of just admitting that radio will still go on.
Yeah.
You know, like Parade kind of has
Parade,
that kind of
with the two kids. Yeah.
Exactly.
Honestly, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. Damn. I mean, it makes so much sense why I love this movie. I mean, when you bring that up, but
and the last movie does add something to it, no matter what people want to say.
For sure.
And him knowing it was going to be his last movie also did add
true.
something to it. Also,
for sure. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I think this is kind of when we start seeing like the mysterious like ghost girl showing up, which it turns out she's like an angel basically.
Yeah, she's an angel.
Which honestly, I kind of really like. I love.
She's not fully explained in the movie.
Not.
Yeah,
which I like.
Yes, for sure.
Yes, because like.
He just kind of wanders around, like
just after doing Magnolia, where she probably got like a whole scene of where she came from and everything.
She's talking to God, and she's like, "You're going to go down." And help these people.
Like the only the person she really explains herself to is the main guy.
Yeah,
but that's because he was basically the cause of her death, which we'll get to. But
like, I mean, that's one of the things. Could you say he's the cause of it? Like
to her,
yes. But but that's what I kind of love about the movie. That's like one of the kind of themes he's maybe introducing is like, what is this relationship of art to a person? You know, like it's not direct cause, but it's also something like you can see like it's something that obviously it's more literal, like it caused a car wreck. Just this idea of like how does art affect us?
Yeah, like the guilt of it, like
and you never know who's listening, really, especially with like a radio show,
and like shows how dangerous film can be.
Yeah, no,
because it's like for propaganda, for like. Because, like, think about, like, okay, this is the extreme example, but, like, Birth of a Nation caused, like, KKK activity to go, or KKK... It
caused them to re-emerge.
Yeah, re-emerge.
They were,
caused a lot more...
Because they were basically a dying organization until that movie came out, and then they got popular again because of that movie.
And you could even say, like, stuff like, back in, like, World War II with propaganda, and, of course, those are extreme examples, but still, like, that film caused more harm than did someone like Triumph of the Will, for example.
No,
I think that's sort of connecting it in a way.
This idea of art is not just all good.
Yes,
you know,
there's downsides.
And to me, it doesn't even have to be about. And you're right about all those kind of like socially, it has a lot of negative effects. But to me, like it can even be about like just individual people, how it affects them too. Like,
yes.
Even though we see the characters happy at the end, like they just did lose their jobs, you know, in a dying industry that doesn't care about them.
Yes.
You know,
okay.
And you can see it's kind of sad too, which is good about Altman's movies. You can always see it both ways. Honestly,
yes. I mean, that's one reason why I like Asteroid City so much. Is like it's kind of doing the same thing.
Honestly, it is. It definitely is. Yeah. No, because I posted this in my Asteroid City. It was like one of the quotes I remember from that movie. It was like that scene where I think it's one of the actors comes up to the director of the play and says, "I don't understand the story." Or I don't understand the play, and he says, "It doesn't matter. Just keep telling the story."
Yeah. Well, no, that was Adrian Brody said that, right?
Yeah,
he says that to one of the actors that asked him that.
No, the Jason Schwartzman, I think, says that to Adrian Brody. I would need to read.
Who's the director? No,
Adrian Brody's the one that tells
he's
the director. Yeah. Adrian Brody's the writer / director of the fake movie of the fake movie.
I thought Edward Norton was the writer director.
But I think it turns into Adrian Brody because like he's the one at the very end that's like
Adrian Brody's the director on
I think Edward Norton's the writer. Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's the difference. I see what you're saying. Got it.
Yes.
Anyway,
but either way, that's the important part. Is just keep telling the story almost.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of the that's just the whole point of art in a lot of ways. It's like it's not about understanding it really. It's like to me, it's like art has existed as long as humanity has existed, basically. And there's doesn't have to be a definite reason of why people do it.
Yeah.
know?
Okay.
It's just to express.
But that doesn't mean it's always positive, like we've been saying.
Yeah.
There are negative aspects to it, and it can it impacts a lot of people.
Okay. Yeah. There's also, I guess, there's a character we haven't talked about yet, which I'm also curious what you guys think about this character, the Lindsay Lohan character.
I like her.
Do you like her? Okay.
She's not huge. She's not a big part of the movie, but
okay, in a way, but like it's like maybe like screen time, but I still think she's like important in like sort of like the Parade way.
Yes.
Where she is like the next
she's
generation
the
in a way.
And kind of like, and I think we kind of see that similar kind of relationship in Shortcuts too with the mom and daughter.
Yes.
Where like they're connected because of music, even though the music is way different.
Yes, she's like
they're obviously way different in a lot of ways, but you can see why they're mother and daughter at the same time because of the music.
Yes, and she's like her character is also supposed to like kind of bring the theme of death into because obviously as I said like Altman was like basically like good,
or how I talked about with Ozu, dude, like death and life are the same thing in a lot of ways. like for her life to be born or anything, like the old has to die, which is kind of what we've been.
Well,
watching.
that I was about to bring up. How I think she's actually more of like, especially at the end, she's kind of like a cynical character almost. Of like Robert Altman saying like whereas in Parade, like the ending with the kids is beautiful and like showing like hope. Ending with Lindsay Lohan, this one is like very cynical of like she's not even in art anymore.
Well,
she's a lawyer.
She only cares about her
I thought
money.
he has like
stocks
or something. Yeah, like she's all about financial stuff, like business and everything, not about art.
Yeah,
and it's kind of like talking about how because the whole movie is about like. I think they're destroying the theater to make a parking garage or something.
Yeah,
is that what that was something like that?
Like,
but that's literally America.
Yeah.
Like,
but the thing is, though, that what's interesting about that is we said like Altman. You can take it both sides with her.
Yeah,
because you get that moment of her singing, like finally singing, like carrying on her mom's tradition, basically. Yeah. But then you get that right afterwards. So it's like a very like you get
that, and then you also think about Tommy Lee Jones though, saying that he was also part of A Prairie Home Companion, and the best thing for him is whenever he got let go or something.
Was it that?
Because he said that whenever
No.
He doesn't say he was part of it. He said he was like he had something to do with it or something like that, or he had something to do do with a musical career.
He said he had his own musical career.
Yeah, he couldn't make it. And that was the best. Okay, it was his own musical career, and he couldn't make it, and that was the best thing for him because he turned into like this business mogul basically, and that's literally kind of what Lindsay Lohan becomes almost like.
Honestly,
or it's what at least that's what I thought whenever I watched her at the very end. I don't think she's like fully gone or like I don't want to say like fully gone or anything because she does like smile at the two cowboys at least whenever she leaves. Like she doesn't forget everyone, but
that is a more Altman moment. It's not as sweet like as you'd want it to be. Where it's like she sings with them at the end or something. It's like he's showing more honest. Like she became a business person. No, it's definitely her character's interesting too. Like that.
Okay, because her character definitely is still a little like maybe a bit like. I mean, it's very like there's not like the nuance that you would want from her character. Like she is like very like
just straightforward. Her poems directly about
it may be a bit straightforward, but it still kind of works though.
But I think it kind of makes more sense for her age.
That's what I was about to say. It makes sense for a teenager.
Yes, exactly.
But we get like I think. Honestly, we're kind of. I'm sorry, just jumping around, but like.
Maybe we'll just talk about the characters the same way because we haven't talked about the Cowboys.
Okay, the Cowboys are great.
They're kind of
my favorite.
Dusty and Lefty, honestly,
like because the movie kind of. I mean, obviously it's kind of based around the show happening live, but it does feel like that too. Like they're like the comedic kind of relief in the movie too. You know,
honestly,
like literally, but also like. We still get good moments of them, like kind of.
Like bantering with each other and singing on stage.
And I like this is kind of connected to them, but it's like, what do you think about the guy dying, like, after his performance?
Okay, like,
and like all the people kind of just reacting to it.
Well, like, after knowing what Luke said about them hiring PTA as like a backup, like it almost makes me think Altman just put that in there, saying like this is what they were trying to do to me, basically. Like the show would go on if I died. Like
honestly,
like I didn't know about that, like that before you said that, but after like after you said that, that's
interesting because like I feel like it could be taken like multiple different ways. Like it's first of all like on surface level, it's a reason for why. It's a reason why Angel would be there. Of course, she's she's also wanting to talk to the I forgot his name, the main guy. Basically.
GK.
But I remember like when she's talking to him. I love when she's like when like after they talk or whatever, and like they're talking, and she goes at the end. She's like he's like can I go? And she's like, oh yeah, I'm not here for you, because she was here for the other guy basically. Yeah. But yeah, it's something about the
and she tells because that guy is like, is he a singer or something?
He's one of the performers.
Yeah, he's one of the performers anyway.
Yeah,
and he just goes to that room and dies. And there's like an old woman, like a behind the scenes woman, who's like, they've been flirting the whole movie and stuff.
Yeah,
and she's like kind of crying, and the angel says to her, the death of an old man is not a tragedy.
Well, I think honestly, what Blake said honestly makes probably the most sense to me. Like that's supposed to represent Altman, like kind of what we were talking about earlier, like. There's still going to be more.
Exactly.
Film is still going to go on. Like, the show is still going to go on, basically.
But I think he's even saying... Like, it's almost both at the same time.
Yeah.
Film is still going to go on, but that moment's still sad.
Yeah.
And she's still sad. You know, she still has the right to be sad.
Because even, like, the Cowboys are very upset about it.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Yeah, for sure. But there's also a great moment, sort of... but it has to do with the angel lady. I love when, like, it shows like the more like this is showing like the more like kind of how dumb the actual noir guy is. He's like lovable dumb though. I don't want to call him like, dumb in general, but like
no, he's got some.
When
he's got some Alia Gould and Long Goodbye aspects to him.
I was thinking more like McCabe, honestly.
Okay, yeah.
But
I was saying he has the Altman a lot of Altman, like Popeye's kind of like that too.
Yeah, like him like hitting on the angel or whatever, like while she's like walking, like while she's saying he's seeing her and stuff. Oh, it's great. But
him hitting on the angel and then like also like telling everyone, yeah, she's here for me.
But yeah, I mean, let me think. Like, great moments of like, the Cowboys bantering, like them get like.
A lot of them are like songs too. Like the ones where I feel like we're leaving out of the songs, so you kind of just have to watch them.
Yeah, the songs they're hard to explain.
We should talk about the performance, that one, like the improv one.
Okay, yeah,
it's just a really good example of like. Just like they're pro. It's like almost showing them being pros. Basically.
Okay, this is what I say. I think it's Altman kind of meta commentary on his improvisation. He was
definitely.
We mentioned it before. Like Altman loved improvisation.
Yes,
like that's a big part of a lot of his scenes. Even though it might not seem like that. Like a lot of like reading about Altman is like discovering which scenes are improvised, and you're being like, what the like how? Like he has whole movies. Like a lot of Nashville was largely improvised.
We can tell. No, I'm kidding.
Stop. We can tell. But yeah, and then of course them having to improvise this duct tape commercial while she's like trying to like.
It's so good.
Oh my gosh! Like and the sound guy like making
the sound guy. GK's like just like. That's what I'm saying. The whole thing is like basically like, automatic for him.
Oh my gosh!
You know, like if something goes wrong, it's just like he's like a robot. You know,
honestly,
it doesn't go wrong. He just moves on to the next thing. He's like just.
It's like
he's like improving like it's just like natural. It's like almost like freestyling.
And then like Meryl Streep's joining in. They're like bringing up different animals and like. I mean, I love when like the guy's doing like the dropping, the water drop, sound.
He does a lot,
and he's doing all the animal sounds. Oh, it's so good.
No, he's going on.
But yeah, I think that's definitely. I feel like has to do with Altman's improvisation. He was known for throughout his career.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yes. But yeah.
And I was gonna. What I brought that up is because a lot of the performances are you kind of just have to watch the songs and stuff. Because he does hang a lot on the songs too. For a short movie, it does feel like you get a lot.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
It feels like
a lot of performances.
It feels like he's kind of like he's sort of like wanting to do like the Nashville.
Maybe that's why I like it more than Nashville's because it's way shorter, honestly.
I mean,
also,
I love it. But I do think it's because of the real time aspect to it. It kind of gives it like a kind of structure to it in the background.
I can see that.
To where it lets his camera float, but there's still kind of something like dragging it almost.
Yeah. But yeah, I think
it's we're watching a radio show as it's being aired live, like basically literally. Yeah. So yeah, they have to fit it in this 1 hour. They have to fill it in a 1 hour like space. So
it's all happening. To me, it's a really good perfect melding of this like kind of dreamlike, death-like aspect of the angel.
Yeah.
The real time like aspect of a radio show, and then like the kind of nostalgic feeling of the a last show.
Yes.
You know.
Yes. Yeah.
But like. Yeah, it's a really good combination of all that.
For sure.
It's a great movie, honestly.
It's also I'm gonna bring up now like the great joke that you love, Blake. Do you want to talk about it or like?
Oh no! I mean this joke just made me actually die laughing whenever I first heard it. It's I think it was the first joke that they did.
They walked on stage and they were just like
because whenever they're doing ads and stuff, like every once in a while they'll have like the people on. I think you guys said that already. Like they'll have the people come on with them, or like the next performers will like take part in the ad basically.
Yeah. Okay.
But I'm pretty sure that's how this one starts, maybe.
Yeah. But I have it written down. My horse is extremely smart. He knows math. He knows physics. He knows physics and chemistry, but I can't seem to teach him philosophy. You can't put Descartes before the horse.
You can't put Descartes before the horse.
You have to say you can put Descartes over the horse.
Before the horse.
It's so good. Oh man, I was just watching it, and then he said that, and I literally just
and just the fact that no one laughed at it too. Like,
yeah,
it just makes it funny.
It's no one laughed at the guy. The GK is just looking at him all weird, and then Woody Harrelson's just like looking at the crowd like his face is just so funny in the scene like. But just that part also just leads into their best song. I mean, Bad Jokes is like, it's my favorite. It's my favorite.
Well, that doesn't lead into it. That's a different
no. Yeah, I know. I'm just saying that was like the primer basically.
Okay,
we got a taste of what was to come.
That scene's amazing because because obviously the Dirty Jokes song is
Bad Jokes. Yeah,
it's like really good.
It is.
But I love the producer's reaction to it. When he's like it's the last show anyway. He's like getting mad. It's like he starts to get mad, but then he realizes like okay, it's the last show.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so funny.
He's like, what did he say? He was like piss, tits, and ass.
Yeah, he's like, hey, why not? Let's ruin the whole show.
Let's ruin the whole show.
show's on the way out anyway. Like, oh man. But I mean, yeah, there's obviously the great conversation between the ghost, the angel lady, and the guy. Basically, as we talked about, the guilt of art and just like how
art and like people relate to each other, kind of.
Yes. But what I want to talk about next is the actual executive guy, because he kind of shows up like pretty far in the movie. He like arrives basically, and he's like his perspective on this is like, oh, this is like a
it's already museum.
Yeah, it's ancient anthropology basically. But it's so funny because I think this is sort of like Altman's like one last like jab at the producers, like the executive side of movies, because like
but at the same time he's still honest about it though. Like that's why I like his end. Like it shows like he got in a car wreck and died, but the show still ended.
Yeah, that too. But it's funny because I think that too, but also Altman killing him is honestly hilarious.
It is.
Think about
exactly.
how much he disliked.
But it's not like he kills them and then the show goes on.
Yes. You're saying it's not a happy ending.
Yes. Like, even though it kind of is a happy ending, like you're saying.
Yeah, so it's both. Yeah. Honestly, but yeah, but just the way he's like the super cold executive guy that like only sees the bad part, and like he of course like the main song he sees is the bad jokes one.
Well, I don't even think I don't think Tommy Lee Jones is even hating everything that's going on. I think he's not sad about anything because he's like, he's here and he's not going to change his mind about anything.
He's only thinking about the profits.
Basically, but like, I don't think he's not enjoying the radio show. Like, at least whenever I was watching him, like, his face did not show like this like hate for the radio show or anything. It's just like,
I don't think it's hate, it's more like indifference.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Because like you mentioned earlier where he says like he tried to be in a band one time. Like maybe that's why he has that kind of indifference he has. But I think it's more just like he just sees it's over already. Like when he comes in, he says to the angel like maybe we should have cameras here so we can send this off to a museum or something.
Yeah.
It's like that's basically how he sees it already. Like it's not something. It's not even something alive for him.
Yeah.
You know.
Honestly, yeah.
Which is he's a business guy. You know.
Honestly. Maybe you connect that to like how people see like old movies in general too, possibly.
Yeah, honestly.
Like people kind of don't appreciate
them
for being
like it's not a real thing, basically.
Like they're just like, oh, you just kind of see them just to appreciate them, basically. When that's like not a good way of approaching older movies. But yeah, basically like it's so funny how like the security guy drives the plan to like get the angel basically to just get him out of there, like to try to get him to leave. As we said, like the false hope of it, like. Yeah, he's gonna try and be the hero, whatever.
He's trying, but it's like, it's basically we don't see. He's basically a joke the whole movie,
honestly, and he's hilarious too.
No, he is funny at it though.
But yeah, basically the angel gets in the car. I love the shot of like because so like the Tommy Jones character invites the angel to for a ride in his car to go to the airport, basically. And like I love the shot where you see him get in the car, and then like the car like it's like revealed, like I think it's the car drives forward, and you see like. Angel comes in the frame and you see it in the car basically. It's a really cool shot. I probably described it really bad.
No, you didn't describe it bad, I don't think.
Yeah, but
I guess it kind of relates to how she died too.
Yeah,
connected
honestly,
the show in some way.
Yeah, maybe
because you could say because of the show.
Okay, yeah, maybe. Yeah, but yeah. And always we said,
just one thing. I didn't want to actually forget this one line. Before, it was whenever I think Lily Tomlin and Meryl Streep were in with the guy the legendary singer that died.
Yeah.
She was like, "Look at him. He's sitting here in his underwear. He died with a heart full of hope." And I was like, "Oh my god!" Because like the whole thing is like he went down there waiting for like his old lady to come back so he could have sex, and that's like basically why he died. He died in his underwear, and she's like, "He died with a heart full of hope." And I was like, "Oh my god!"
That's a very like her character thing to say too.
Yeah, that just randomly popped into my mind. Wasn't connected to anything we were talking about, but I didn't want to forget.
I mean, yeah,
because that was another one where this is a really funny movie, honestly. Even though it's a lot of different feelings that you're feeling.
He's balancing it so well.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I mean, we're gonna play there's a lot of good songs, but the Bad Joke song is we're gonna play it at the end.
Jokes,
so I mean, that's a great song.
So, wait, do y'all have like a favorite joke from
the Bad Joke song?
Yeah. I love the.
I have to listen to the song.
The God made a woman have 3 boobs and then took the middle one and created men.
That one was really good.
There's
there's
something about Viagra and Hardened Criminals. I just wrote like one word.
Dude, the Viagra and Hardened Criminals one's really good. He was like a lot of people apparently stole his Viagra, and the cops are out looking for hardened criminals. Just like, oh my god.
There was a diarrhea runs in the jeans.
Yeah, classic. Yeah, that's great. Because it functions.
And that guy freaking out on the side, like he's been like telling him, "Please don't do this. Please don't do this."
Oh,
it's like,
that's what I'm saying. It's hilarious. Like him like throwing his paper.
It's the last show. Who cares? And then it's also like the sound effects guy is just in the background doing the sound effects.
Yeah, he's like
no one. Like, shut up.
And like also the song still like has a really good chorus too. Like,
it does. Yeah,
it's catchy too.
Yeah, honestly,
it is.
I'm not. I was gonna try and imitate it for a second. I'm not gonna do that. No,
we'll let the music. We're gonna play it.
Yeah.
So
You better put. You gotta put the chorus in there. Make sure
I'll play the whole thing. I usually play the whole song. At the
Okay, yeah.
But honestly, all the songs in this one I actually liked. So.
Yeah. It's definitely
even the ad songs are not bad.
Yeah, honestly,
they're catchy too.
Yeah. But yeah, as we said, like we kind of already talked about the ending.
We did.
Yeah, basically like.
Let's see if I have anything else.
Is there anything like that stands out to you? Any other than like what we talked about, like so like obviously there.
Well, I do like the like. Okay, we should talk about what do you think the last scene means. Like we kind of mentioned with when Lindsay Lohan walks in the diner.
Yeah.
But like, what do you think that last scene means? Because that is a difference between the end of Parade, which ends in the theater itself, versus this one is like, why does he start and end it in a cafe?
Yeah.
Or a diner?
I'm still not. I still need to think about it honestly. Like, he's saying something about like art, like maybe like the artist can't live forever.
Okay.
Maybe
they're trying to though. Like they're like it's like this thing where they don't have the radio show anymore, and so they're doing farewell tours. Yeah, like we see that a ton
they
now.
They want
to do a farewell tour, which we see a lot now of like these old rockers. Like basically, they got fucked by the studios, and like they didn't get a lot of money from like their popular like albums and stuff like that. So that's why you see like Journey and the Foo Fighters and all these people like actually doing reunion tours and like and farewell tours basically because they need money. Like,
but see, I think it's. Okay, the need money thing is
because
that's
there, also
I think
like
it's more than that. It's more like at least to this movie's sake. I think it's more like that's what an artist is.
Yeah, for sure.
Like that's what they do. Like a lot of them would probably tell you like, what else am I going to do? You know, I just like doing this. You know, if I can't do it, why not do it?
Well, I do,
and like that's why I say it's like a really sweet scene where Meryl Streep. They're all just coming up with new ways to keep going.
Yeah,
basically.
Okay.
You know, like they just lost something, but all they can think about is what they're going to do next. And then I like GK's like, yeah, I'm down for that. GK, like, I'm down for anything.
But I also like GK before because like before the theater even got like before that was done, he like said, I'm not gonna do anything where I have to talk. Like that's basically what.
No, I love his exact line. No, okay, yeah, because it's he says, I want a job where I don't want to say a word, and then she asks why, and he's like, that's why.
That's why. Yeah.
They're like, that's why. Yeah. Like the way just people asking him questions and stuff. He's like,
yeah. No, but like what I was saying to like farewell tours and all that, and trying to find a living. But I guess what you were saying, like that's what else are they gonna do? Because like we see that with Woody Harrelson and John C. Reilly, like they have changed their performance. Well, kind of changed their performance to fit like this Las Vegas crowd more so than like a radio crowd.
Yeah.
Because that's where they said they've like. They went to like.
They're thinking about how they're evolving.
How they're trying to
the evolution of art. Basically.
Yeah, but they're also interested in doing the tour as well. So
okay, yeah, honestly, that's honestly good.
But yeah, I think
that's how I see it though. It's like the diner's almost like that's just another behind the scenes shot almost. You know?
Yeah. Okay.
Like another just behind the set or whatever.
It's behind the scenes. It also does kind of feel like. Like it's dying though. Like the radio's been dying.
But that's
maybe
kind of what we're saying.
It's
both.
Dying. I don't know. Yeah, for sure. It's
like,
but like a cafe is also
a new life
dying,
requires
you know?
death. You know.
Yeah.
Like really, art's never really going to die. It's just going to change.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, yeah, that's. I think that's A Prairie Home Companion, basically.
Yes.
Yeah, very very underrated movie that I think deserves a lot more love.
I didn't know it was that low rated.
Yeah, a lot of people. It's a common thing though with a lot of like late auteur, like a lot of like people dismiss a lot of late auteur careers. Obviously, there's exceptions like Kubrick and stuff, but like it's something that like I feel like people need to like. I feel like maybe people get a bit too like caught up in the rating, like kind of like how you were saying.
Or not even the rating, just like if this is a director's greatest movie, then by definition, this other one has to be lesser than that.
Yes, okay.
And that's like we're just more addicted just to titles and stuff, where it just like a certain movie can be better on a certain day, almost. To me, for certain great directors.
Okay.
But
yeah, that's Prairie Home Companion, fantastic movie. But before we end this off. I wanted to go through some questions for you guys about the Altman series. So the first one I want to ask you guys: what is your favorite Altman character?
Oh, that's easy. Elliot Gould and California
That's
Sports.
okay. Actually,
I was gonna say
I'll
California Sports probably my
Excellent.
Okay, he's tied for me, but I'm gonna say GK.
Okay.
Oh, he's so good.
Because he's honestly like, because we get a few moments, and I think we quoted like GK, but he's like, he's just so like I said, he's almost like robotic and stuff, but he's kind of like. I just love his personality. Like,
honestly, yeah.
He's very almost zen in a lot of ways.
Okay.
Like, he's kind of accepted, you know.
He's the Ozu character that kind of knows what's about that.
But it's not like he's depressing or anything about it.
Yeah, okay.
You know, he's still like... And he's just really good at his job, too. It's like, you can tell he's really good at it.
But yeah, mine's no question Elliot Gould and Long Goodbye. I mean, there's obviously some...
But I didn't want to say... I don't want to have 3 Elliot Goulds. Yeah, I mean, he probably is...
He's like the definition of cool.
Even though, dude... I'll save it for a favorite scene, but... Is that our next question? I'll save it. Okay.
Well, okay. The next one's a funny Altman moment you love.
Okay, funny.
Just a funny one.
This one. Okay, you go first.
Okay, yeah. So mine is for sure the. Okay, actually maybe.
Okay, I have mine because I was just looking it up, but I don't want you to steal mine.
Okay.
The Piccolo moment in California Express.
Oh, fuck you.
Let's go. Okay, yeah, no, dude, that's a great moment. That's a great
moment. You can say multiple too if you want, but like I was thinking, first one that came to mind was like the McCabe and Mrs. Miller, McCabe and the talking to the big, what's his name? I forgot his name already.
The big bear guy.
The big bear guy in the bar, basically.
Oh, that's a great moment.
Basically him getting deconstructed, like it's fantastic.
Yes.
Mine was probably going to be, I ain't going to take no goddamn bath.
Now
that Dane stole my actual one. Okay.
That's a really good moment, too.
Honestly, yeah, like... And there's also some fantastic moments in like the trailing scene in Long Goodbye where Elliot Gould teaching him how to trail, teaching the guy how to trail.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
With the gate guy that basically does all the impressions.
Another honorary mention for me is whenever Bluto knocks Popeye down the hole and it makes corkscrew through the wood.
Popeye has a lot of them. Like,
but I mean, obviously, what I just said today, like the cart before the horse joke, is fucking killing me. Like, I love that.
Tim Robbins in Shortcuts, everything he does in Shortcuts is like hilarious.
Funny.
But moving on, is there anything else you want to mention?
For funny?
Yeah.
No, I think we got.
Okay.
I mean...
Next one, best looking Altman film. And this one is for sure McCabe, Mrs. Miller for me.
That's me too.
That's me
too.
Yeah.
It's like
it just that has the most distinct like it.
Yeah,
I mean, all the movies have a good
that
look, but
and 3
that
Women for me because those two movies are fucking amazing.
But to me, that one is its most distinct in terms of we don't see movies like that.
Okay,
like just there's no movie that looks like that, even close, really.
Just the mixture of like rainy
that
western,
haziness.
There's like the sun's out in some scenes and then the snow at the end. Like it's a great mixture. Like you're saying like
great.
And that's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, we all picked the same one though.
Yeah,
but that kind of goes to my favorite scene.
Well, I was going to
do moment.
I was going to do opening ending.
Okay.
Yeah, but favorite Altman opening scene. Mine's obvious. It's Long Goodbye's opening scene, but with the cat.
Yeah. Honestly, this is the one where I wish
hilarious. That's also a very funny Altman.
You know, I'll say the player. That's the one we just did most recently, but I really like the players too, where you hear all the conversation. Like it works well with like Altman's kind of. Flooding the soundtrack with different voices.
Yes.
It works well to introduce like a studio lot almost.
Just how meta it is too.
Yeah, all the different conversations you hear at the opening and stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
The two for me would either be McCabe and Mrs. Miller or California Split. Just because I love California Split's opening specifically because I love the poker room. Like I just love the narration of how to be a good poker player or a liked poker player.
Yeah,
That's not necessarily good, but McCabe and Mrs. Miller is legendary as well. Like fuck off. Like McCabe just showing up in the town. That's a legendary opening scene.
But I'm like, I have a huge McCabe Mrs. Miller bias. So,
Yeah.
Okay, next one. Favorite ending scene in an Altman movie?
Ending's tough. Like I think of him way more as like an opening.
I mean,
I think of his openings way
his
more.
Endings are still amazing.
The opening and ending for me is the same one because California Split connected with me so much, man. Like the ending of that movie is perfect for especially a reformed gambler.
No, I'll say because we haven't talked about it and we talked about it a lot on the episode. Is 3 Women's ending.
Okay,
because,
that's a good one, man.
It is a lot different. It makes you reframe the movie a lot of ways. So like it can if you wanted to.
Anyway. You project yourself. Whatever you want to. Yeah. Mine's basically a tie between McCabe Mrs. Miller and Long Goodbye. I'm like a broken record at this point.
A lot of them the same movies. The favorite.
But yeah, I mean those are two of my all-time favorite movies. So okay, Altman scene or moment you love though. Just throw some
Okay,
out there.
okay. This is the one I'm gonna say is at least a really good Altman moment for me is in McCabe and Mrs. Miller when we get the gunfight.
Fuck yeah,
Yeah,
that was
the
mine.
gunfight
That's probably that. I mean, that's
Because it does a really good
for
job
me.
of like showing you like kind of where Altman fits, you know, in film history almost.
Yeah.
You know, the kind of like really self-aware, self-western, like,
And just
and just kind of his movies in general. You know, like they're like the period after like the heroic hero almost. Like I don't know, like he's kind of like
the way he like
parodying him
and the way he's
in some
finding
ways.
unique ways to film it too.
Yes,
like the
yes.
overhead camera, the way he shows like how he shot the guy through the door as we talked about in the episode.
Yes.
That's like that's
Well, and it's
up
just
there
like
for me.
it's just like going not pre-flashing that section really, like it makes it stand out. Like that's why it's probably my favorite moment as well as that ending. But like I can give another one. Popeye Red. Okay, that was really great, honestly. But I also love the Long Goodbyes ending. So
Long Goodbyes ending, of course. Wait, are we talking about ending right now?
did we talk about moment or
this
ending?
moment.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Well, the
okay.
Long Goodbye. I actually, I know. I meant it as like the ending, but I also really like that scene. Just in
Yes.
general. I know.
Yeah.
We disagreed about this on the podcast.
That's one of my favorites.
But I really like that moment, honestly.
Oh, yeah,
like
Baker?
the Long Goodbye moment.
and Long Goodbye.
The ending of Long Goodbye, like that whole sequence, basically of him
yes,
shooting
yes,
Terry and then like him
yes.
walking off.
Well, yeah. My
I do
favorite
really
Altman
like
moment
that,
though
so.
is we actually mentioned this episode, but the reflection shot of Marlo on the beach while the couple are talking basically about the relationship.
Okay.
Like that's
That's
like my
cool.
all-time favorite Altman moment, probably.
Oh really? Damn.
Yeah, maybe. Okay, that's a bold take, but it's
Okay,
top three.
Elliot Gould did it, so I'll give it to him. I'll give it to him. He's part of it.
It's an amazing shot too, like incredible shot. Like
Honestly, one of the best Altman moments is just the very first shot of Long Goodbye.
I'm gonna.
I mean,
The
yeah,
cat on top of him and stuff.
Yeah, that's.
I'm gonna
Yeah, you
change-
said that already. The opening.
I'm
but,
gonna
like,
change mine to be different from Danny's. By the way, just I'm gonna do the oranges on the escalator scene.
Okay, yeah, I forgot. How did we do that? Yeah.
Wait, what? What's
Oranges
this?
on an escalator. You don't throw oranges on an escalator, lady.
Okay. Also, you mentioned California Split, but when Elliot Gould is going one by one to the poker players, telling
Yes, that's a great scene.
the other guy about George Siegel.
He's like reading them all out.
Yeah, like it's so great. Okay, but this one actually just added on the spot. This is the final question before we do the top 5.
Okay.
What have you learned about Altman through this series? Like, what's like a takeaway you're gonna have from Altman through watching his films?
Okay, I'll just say what I think of when I think of Altman.
Yeah.
Now, I think it would definitely like kind of like a floating zoom camera.
Okay.
Definitely like a more detached, but not always detached.
Yeah.
And then also like kind of what I mentioned earlier is like he seems like he's still playing in a lot of the Hollywood genres and stuff,
Yeah.
but he's like more self-aware of them.
Well,
And he's way more vague and kind of showing their endings and stuff.
That's kind of what ties into what I've kind of like learned a lot from rewatching it through these films is like how he's like deconstructing every genre, basically. How he's like playing with that rules, as you said, like with his style. But that's kind of the main thing I've kind of learned about through this rewatch. But yeah, Blake.
Well, I didn't know a lot about Altman before this
Yeah.
series, but like my takeaway is like I just love the man. Like,
Okay.
like I want to watch more of his movies. That's the big takeaway. Is like I've seen 10. I think I've seen 10 or 11 up to this point. I think 10.
Yeah.
But well, I have it right here. Why am I saying I can
Yeah,
actually
we're
just
really
look
on
at
the
it?
phone right now.
I have 10. Okay, because I haven't logged Prairie Home Companion yet. But he's got like what 58 movies or some shit.
Yeah,
like he's got a lot. He makes it's like watching through, especially the 70s and the 90s ones, especially. Like I want to fill in the gaps that I'm missing. Basically,
See if any like missing like hidden gems too.
yeah, like
yeah.
because he's a great director, man. Like I didn't know how it was going to go watching all these different movies because like I knew I was going to at least love probably the first 2 weeks. But then after that, I was way more iffy. I'm like, if I was going to like Altman. And I'm glad to say I loved it. So
That's good to hear. But yeah, I guess now we'll end this off. Top 5 favorite Altman. Anyone who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay.
'Cause I think the only one to where I struggle is like 5 and 6, but my top 4 is like pretty. I'm still struggling between. I don't know if it's recency bias or not, but I'm pretty even on California Split. I'll put that 1 still.
Okay.
And A Prairie Home Companion, I'll put 2.
Okay.
Damn.
And then
I like
McCabe and
that.
Mrs. Miller 3.
Okay.
And those are kind of like because I like tiers more than individual rankings, and those are
Okay.
like my tier 1.
S
I'm
tier,
calling
yeah,
it.
S
I'm
tier.
saying I just like numbers. But.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, because I just don't know where to put S. Like I
That's fair.
start with A or S.
Everyone puts
S.
I know it's first, but it doesn't make
it's
it's not neat to me. Like just start with tier 1.
Yeah, that's fair.
And then tier 2, so 4, 3 woman,
Okay.
and then that's why I think the Long Goodbye and the Play are about the same to me.
Okay.
But I'll put the Long Goodbye more just because Elliot Gould maybe.
I got you. Yeah. I mean,
So that's my top 5.
Elliot Gould's a cheat code. I think
Yeah. He's the tiebreaker.
Sure.
He's the tiebreaker.
Yeah.
Even though Tim Robbins is the player is really good.
Oh yeah, Tim Robbins amazing. Yeah, for sure. But yeah.
My top 5, if we're going by tiers, which
It
would be. No, I'm not. But like my tier 1 would definitely. I mean, my tier 1 is like California Split's basically in a tier. Well, okay, California Split and McCabe and Mrs. Miller are a tier of their own, and then it's a Long Goodbye, and Prairie Home Companion. I consider them basically the same tier as well. And then like the tier 3 after that would be The Player and Nashville.
So that's 5. So what's a
My 5 would be The Player.
Let's just list them then.
Yeah, no, The Player at 5. Prairie Home Companion, Long Goodbye, McCabe and Mrs. Miller, and California Split.
Okay. So mine, number 1, McCabe and Mrs. Miller. Number 2,
that's
The Long Goodbye. Those are like really close though. Like
okay.
I
That's why I like tiers though. That's what I'm saying.
I spent a lot.
So
of
they're
time
the same
thinking about
tier
that.
for you.
Oh yeah, for sure. Number 3, this is gonna come as a surprise. Shortcuts.
That's not that
None of
much
us
of
have
a
mentioned.
surprise.
None of
Yeah.
us have that.
Number
Yeah,
4, California Split. Number 5, 3 Women.
Oh.
See,
California Split.
Damn,
the highest, bro.
no Prairie Home Companion.
Or Nashville. Nashville will
Yeah,
be
or
Nashville will
Nashville,
probably be
yeah.
number 6. Nashville will be number 6.
Damn, no Prairie Home Companion.
7.
Me and Blake liked it over you.
Huh?
I still love. Okay,
Damn.
okay. Let me clarify. There's like 7 or 8 Altman movies I love.
Okay.
Like all of them, like 5 stars for me.
So, like,
But
if you
okay,
use
so
my
I'm gonna-
method really quick, tier 1, how many would be in tier 1?
2.
Oh,
Maybe
that's
it's no
okay.
Long Goodbye, and then
Because, like, if I did this for Ozu, it'd be like all of them are tier 1 for
well,
me. So that's why-
like the rest.
That's why I couldn't be
Okay,
biased.
those 2 are tier 1, but then tier 2 there's like
a lot.
6
Okay,
or, like,
okay,
yeah,
okay,
like,
that makes sense.
But yeah. That's I
But
guess
yeah,
that's
that's
Altman.
Altman.
Yeah.
No, see, I'm glad you picked Altman because I know you were debating a few like wells and
Yeah.
stuff. But yeah, because Altman I probably would have held off
Oh,
for
I
a
would
while.
have, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Like
fair.
me and Blake are both racist
I-
against American directors,
Yes.
you know. So, no,
Well,
I'm just
well,
kidding.
I am. Yeah.
Well, you guys better not.
But
when
see,
I
there's
write the
others you
Cassavetes,
think of
but-
first in this kind of generation.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, yeah, and I'm
Oh, he's like we. I don't know if we mentioned the John Carpenter interview on
Maybe
air.
we
On
should
air,
have with
but-
that. Maybe
No,
we should have.
no, we shouldn't.
It's
No.
so, that
No,
it's a hilarious interview. I don't really agree with Carpenter on this one because like I think Altman's one of like he should be mentioned in the same breath or even higher than Spielberg and like Lucas and all these people. He's a better director than them in my opinion.
Okay, yeah, honestly.
Like
yeah.
I
love that you mentioned those two and not like Coleman's Scorsese, but okay. Yeah.
that's not what the interview mentioned.
No, he mentions all of them. Oh yeah,
No, he said
says Scorsese.
Lucas.
He says Scorsese.
Did he say Scorsese too?
Yeah, or the interviewer mentions Scorsese. I
Okay.
think.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, all those guys.
But yeah, Altman, like, the reason why I picked him mainly is because I kind of just, like, he was a director where, like, I watched one movie, and I was like, okay, I love this. I watched another movie. I was like, oh, okay, I love this. Like, and, like, the first movies, like, I watched from him, like, The Long Goodbye Nashville, I was like, okay, these gotta be, like, it's gotta be downhill from here. And then I watched more and more, and it wasn't.
That's why I thought it was good. I think I told
Even
you
though
that.
not
after
according to
week
your
one.
ratings though, or your list.
No, McCabe is Miller number 1. Long Goodbye still number 2. But, like...
And that's what you just said. You said
But, like, that okay, but Shortcuts was,
okay,
like...
yeah, that's
was,
way
like,
later.
a few
yes.
movies
No,
in.
you're right. I was just saying.
California-
I'm saying according to your list, technically,
Okay.
your top 2 movies were the '70s, early '70s.
No, I
No, I'm talking... But I didn't watch them in order, though. That's the thing, too,
Oh,
about
okay,
it.
okay,
Like...
okay.
But,
No, I think I told you before we started the series. I was like, I've seen the first 2 movies that we're going to do, and I love them. And after that, I don't know what to expect. And I'm
Yeah.
I kind of was like you. I was expecting it to go downhill. And then the next movie is California Split. I was like, okay,
Oh,
we're back.
yeah. no need to worry.
No downhill here. No. It just
But
goes
yeah,
on.
but hopefully you guys aren't racist towards American directors much longer because we are going to do Cassavetes at some point.
I haven't seen Cassavetes, but I'm not against him. So.
yeah, that's good.
I'm only mostly against blockbuster directors.
That's
like,
fine. But
and I don't even hate blockbuster directors. Like I like Spielberg and Lucas's first movies. Like they're like the beginning of the blockbuster movies, basically. But
Fableman's
what it's led to is I don't like. So.
that's fair.
But yeah, Fableman's is really good.
But yeah, I guess. Oh, what are we doing next week? We
Wes
haven't really-
Anderson?
Mission Impossible
Or Mission. One of those.
We're doing a contemporary movie
We'll
of
do
some
something.
Should we just do like
something
should we just do
like-
Asteroid City and
Mission Impossible Fallout.
or Dead Reckoning?
Oh yeah, Dead Reckoning.
Yeah,
Yeah, we can
Just
do
do
that.
both.
I don't mind.
yeah. We might as well, I guess. Yeah.
We'll see. Probably, but
Yeah, probably.
maybe not.
some contemporary movie of some kind.
Definitely one of those two for sure.
Mission Impossible 2.
I wouldn't be opposed to just doing both of them.
We can do both.
But yeah, so hope to see you guys next week, and hope to see you floating through the clouds.
The blind man's seeing eye dog pissed on the blind man's shoe. The blind man said, "Here, Rover, here's a piece of beef for you." His wife said, "Don't reward him. You can't just let that pass." The blind man said, "I gotta find his mouth so I can kick him in the ass." Bad jokes, Lord, I love them. Bad jokes, can't get enough of them. Ooh-wee, bad jokes for me. You got one, Dusty?
I got one, Lefty.
Let's hear it.
When God created woman, he gave her not 2 breasts but 3. When the middle one got in the way, God performed surgery. Woman stood before God with the middle breast in hand, said, "What do we do with the useless boob?" And God created man.
Bad jokes, Lord, I love them. Bad jokes, can't get enough of them. Ooh-wee, bad jokes for me. Gramps turned 80 the other day, and everybody was there. And he was dressed up in a brand new suit, sitting in his big armchair, when a beautiful young naked woman stood up in front of the group. She offered Gramps some super sex, and he said, "I'll take the soup." Bad jokes, Lord, I love them. Bad jokes, can't get enough of them. Ooh-wee, bad jokes for me.
Ready for another one?
Yeah, lay it on me.
Ole went to the neighborhood dance and he won the big door prize. It was a toilet brush and he took it home, and the next week one of the guys said, "Ole, how's that toilet brush, the one you won from the neighbors?" Ole said, "Oh, it works pretty good, but I prefer toilet paper."
Bad jokes, Lord, I love them. Bad jokes, can't get enough of them. Ooh-wee, bad jokes for me.
Farmer had a champion bull bred 200 times a year. The farmer's wife said, 200 times? Isn't that wonderful, dear? Maybe you ought to watch him. Maybe he'll show you how. Farmer said, he's a heck of a bull, but it wasn't all with the same cow. Come on now.
Bad jokes, Lord, I love them. Bad jokes, can't get enough of them. Ooh-wee, bad jokes for me. You got another one, Dusty?
Actually, I do. Did you hear about the Viagra shipment that got stolen?
No, who do they think did it?
Well, they don't know, but they're on the lookout for hardened criminals.
You got another one?
I got another one, Lefty. Sven said to his friend, "Oh, I think my wife died." His friend said, "Well, what do you mean you think?" "Well, the sex is still the same, but the dishes are stacking up."
Hey, Dusty.
Yeah, Lefty.
Did you know that diarrhea was hereditary?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, it runs in your genes.
Hey, Lefty,
Yeah, go ahead.
why do they call it PMS?
PMS, well, I don't know why.
Because Mad Cow was already taken.
Hey, Dusty,
Yeah, Lefty.
what do you get when you cross holy water with castor oil?
I don't know, Lefty. What do you get?
A religious movement.
Hey, Lefty, what did the elephant say to the naked man?
What'd he say?
It's cute, but can you really breathe through that thing?
Come on. Bad jokes, Lord, I love them. Bad jokes, can't get enough of them. Ooh-wee, bad jokes for me. Bad jokes, man, I love them. Bad jokes, can't get enough of them. Ooh-wee, bad jokes for me.